I am.
No, Mr. Jameson hasn't returned yet. I'll have him call as soon as he comes in.
As soon as it's dark.
I'm on my going to November shit. I'll be back, but I just got some things I'm dealing with. And I apologize, but that's just if I miss. Tell my son we're swinging for the fences if I miss. I got tired of feeling like nobody gave a shit. And I had to look inside myself to find the strength. And ever since then, everything been making sense. I do my best, make sure my son preserve his innocence. Cause they gon' try to take it from him, but I'm his defense. I'm the king, she the queen, that make him the prince. I exist with the pain of us being lynched and being stripped of our royalty, and I'm pissed. I try my best to keep together. That's when my world starts to crumble. In the mirror looking at myself like what make you think they love you? These are gifts you got from God, boy, don't let them take it from you. That's what my grandma used to tell me. My son looks just like you when I love you. I watch myself burn the ashes, then I watch myself arise in the eye of the storm, free from harm, just me and God. Times they left me out for dry, wondering how did I survive. Promise to God myself through Babylon and never leave his side. And even if I'm not there, I still exist through the vibes of certain things that can't exist without me. It's like time, and my flow just got better with age. It's like wine, I grew up and stopped fucking with niggas, just like swine. I'm not concerned about what's yours and what's mine. I realize it ain't a war on the poor, they want minds. Time to unify, accumulate numbers, it's crunch time. Strategize, stop endorsing they wars on the front line. But niggas just think I'm lying, but that's far from the truth. I kill myself before I stand up to them stars and salute. And I kick it like this, because them other niggas not. We at war whether you decide to acknowledge it or not. But I'll be back.
Mr. Jameson hasn't returned yet. I'll have him call as soon as he comes in.
All right. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, DMG the Poet, aka Brother Pianki. And we got a nice one for you. The Slim Reaper himself is here to debate, the newest brother on the platform. And he goes by the moniker Bennu, Lord Bennu, the Shepherd. And that was him you heard on that track. So y'all make sure y'all come back so y'all can hear more of the brother music and figure out how to get a hold of it. That being said, y'all know before we get into our spiel, I got to do my usual greeting. Let me say God bless to my fellow Christian brothers and sisters. Hotep to my Kemetic brothers and sisters. Shalom to my Israelite brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum to my brothers and sisters in the NOI. Islam to my Moorish brothers and sisters. I want to say peace to my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earths, them 5%ers. I want to say what's up to all my Rasta brothers and sisters. Salute to all my Abo brothers and sisters. Shout out to all my atheist brothers and sisters. And finally, last but not least, I want to say Jumbo to all the rest of my brothers and sisters throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting, and we can't have unity without uniformity. And we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. Although you rarely gonna see that on Paradigm Shift TV 314, Battle of the Ideologies. That's the channel where all these types of discussions are gonna start going down as we move into 2024. You will still see these discussions on the whole effing show. Your brother gonna be moving in a little bit of a different direction over here on the main channel, but you will still get this energy on the whole effing show and on Battle of the Ideologies. That being said, Lord Bennu, the Shepherd, hope I'm saying your name correctly. You made a claim, and now the Slim Reaper is here to make you stand on it. We're giving you 8 minutes, my guy, to kick this thing off. The question of the day is, are educated black people's biggest problem?
Peace to everybody that's tuned in. Peace to everybody on the panel. Peace to my opponent today. And I'm gonna answer that question by saying yes, I made the claim. Now I want to clarify that I'm not stating that all educated black people are our problem. But what I am stating is that the educated class of black people are our biggest problem. And I'll put it in terms of sports, since we all can agree that we have an understanding of how sports are. If you have a team that has a bad defense, even though they might have some star players on their defense, if they're not playing collectively together to stop the other team's offense, that defense is a bad defense. And that would be the problem why they are losing as much as they are losing. So I want to start out with a quote from France Fanon, and it says, "The unpreparedness of the educated class, the lack of particular links between them and the masses of people, their laziness, and let it be said, their cowardice at the decisive moments of the struggle will rise to tragic mishaps." Now, I want to build on that by
Have to drop
going
a
in.
bomb for France for 9 real quick. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I knew you would like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I want to go into a report that Lyndon B. Johnson put together in 1968, the Kerner Report, and what it found was that the reason for they put the report together because they were having some unrest and some riots going on within the black communities, and they didn't agree with what was going on and how they were being treated. So Lyndon B. Johnson wanted to find out why that was going on, and the report came to find out that it was pervasive discrimination and segregation in employment, education, housing, which resulted in the country's exclusion of the great numbers of Negroes from benefits and economic progress by white racism. Now, after the Kerner Report, they did 50 years later, they went back to touch on it to see what was going on. And black people did make some advancements. Black people around the country were far more educated now than they had ever been. They were 2 times as likely to have college degrees. 90% of the blacks between 25 and 29 had high school degrees compared to half of that 50 years before. 43% of them, they had a 43% increase in annual household income, and the wealth jumped 6 times. But in that 50 years, they were worse off in home ownership, employment, and incarceration. There was 3 times as many black people incarcerated, and that was 1,700 for every 100,000. Now Amos Wilson, well, if in the Bible it says that you can tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. So if we're looking at what the education has done for us in that 50-year period of time, it basically sent more of us to jail, even though more of us were educated and more of us were getting diplomas and degrees. So I'm saying that if we're dependent on the people that are educated to defend us from attacks and any oppression that's coming our way, because it's not the people on the street corners that are oppressing us on the other side. It's their educated class that are putting these laws and these things into play that are keeping us in the situations that we're in. Now, I know a lot of rebuttals that I get was that, well, if people want better, they would do better. And they should, you know what I'm saying, go to school and educate themselves and get these degrees and things like that. But I would say that if that was the case, then in the NBA, everybody would be LeBron James and everybody would be Michael Jordan, but they're not. So people, we as a people are dependent on the people that are educated or are the class with the education to put things in place to help us out of these situations. So my main thing would be that the reason for education would be to help a people's survival. And right now, our educated class isn't doing much to help us survive in these times. It's helping us to get along and be dominated. So from there, I'll pass the floor to the good brother.
Okay, so just so you know, you have 1minute 20 seconds left.
I use
So
that
you want-
minute and 20 seconds to ask him, what does he think the purpose of education is?
All right, let me reset to his 2 minutes, and we will get the Slim Reaper's response.
This is
The
not
time-
Q&A time. This is not Q&A time, so you can gladly ask me that question during the Q&A time. But
Now, I was giving you the rest of my time.
okay, okay, yeah. So education has more than one purpose. One of which is for your personal enrichment. It results in usually higher income depending on what you get your particular education in. Education is used to build families. It lessens all of the likelihood of everything that all of the negative outcomes and things that you talked about, including like, that you're going to go to jail, increases your lifetime income, especially depending on what it's in. But typically people graduate high school, if you graduate high school, get married, have kids, graduate high school, get a job, get married, have kids in that particular order, you typically reduce your chances of poverty by 96%. That's one of the things that just a base level education does. You end up with much higher income prospects if you graduate from college, bachelor's degree, and things like that. And then the higher you go, the more income you can demand as a result of your education. But education principally, depending on which, like if you have a sort of Western idea, it typically results in more human flourishing, better human flourishing and happiness, and that sort of thing. That's what I think one of the principal goals of education is.
All right, that's the rest of his time. Are you ready to start your rebuttal?
Yeah.
Time will start when you start.
Okay. And how much time I got?
2 minutes.
I won't need all 2 minutes. I am just going to say that what I want you all to watch for is something that the brother would know if he had base level education, is the fact that correlation does not equal causation. The brother talked about during a period of time there being greater incarceration. One, I'm going to challenge that anyhow, but I am going to say that what he showed is similar to saying that during the summertime that there's more ice cream sold, and there's also more fights. And then to say that the fighting that results in the summertime is the result of ice cream sales. There's an entire website you can go to called Spurious Correlations, and you can look at correlations just like this. It's not showing that education is even remotely the cause of things like mass incarceration, being worse off in home ownership, or anything like that. There's all sorts of other things that took place during that time period, which I know he's not remotely aware of, which we're going to ask him in the Q&A period. So again, just take note of the particular issues that he talked about and these things that took place over the same span of time, and we're going to get into those specifics. I wrote down some of the examples of what he said. We're going to get into the specifics when the time comes. I yield the rest of my time. We can move on to the next category.
All right. So brother yield his remaining 47 seconds. We are going to jump to the Slim Reaper for his 8-minute go at our brother's information. Slim Reaper, you have 8 minutes to say why you feel the opposite of the way our brother feels about education in the Black community.
Let me know when I can go.
Time to start when you start.
I want you to imagine that it is 1444 and there's a Portuguese slave ship that has just arrived on your coast. As a result of infighting between tribes, the Portuguese come there and they arrive along the coast, and they start negotiating with chieftains for the sale of rival African tribes. And so you are the rival African tribe. You've been captured and you've been picked up and you've been transported to the United States. And as a result of being transferred to the United States, you are now a slave. Not only are you a slave, but you are now going to be bred like cattle. And then what's going to happen is your kids are going to be perpetual slaves. Over and over again, you're going to be forced bred like pit bull puppies. And then look around and say, hey, you know, what's the problem? What's the biggest problem we have here? The problem must be the educated Negroes who are among us. I want you to imagine that you are Nat Turner. Imagine that you're Nat Turner, and you decided that you're going to organize a slave rebellion because you feel that you are a man with full entitlement to all of the natural rights, and you get reported and told on, right? And then you get captured and dismembered and beaten, all sorts of things like that. What would your biggest problem be if you were the slaves in that story? Would it be educated Negroes who are the biggest problem there? Or would it not be the sort of slave system that exists at that time? I don't know. Let's say we fast forward to Civil War time, where we're in the mid 1800s, 19th century. Would your biggest problem then be educated Black folks? Like, what's the problem? Well, no, actually, quite the opposite. The opposite has actually been true, that when you're an educated Negro, that you actually had much, much better prospects. And so whether this was you learning the construction trade, whether you were someone like Benjamin Banneker and you were one of the architects somewhere like Washington, D.C., and this actually got you on display to travel the world, and you got shown off to the French because they didn't think that Negroes could be as educated and as intelligent as you are because you're a certified genius. But according to Brother Bennu, that someone like Benjamin Banneker would be one of our biggest problems that we have. And even if he says not all, well, then what would it be? Would it be most? But even if they're the biggest problem, I want you to just close your eyes for a second and think of the sheer retardedness that Lil Wayne backup dancer has espoused here, and making the claim that the biggest problems for Black people is educated Black people. Like what in what world, when your ancestors were fighting for an opportunity and fighting against separate but equal, when Thurgood Marshall, the educated HBCU educated scholar, took multiple cases before the Supreme Court, most of which he won, and then became a Supreme Court justice himself, we would look at Thurgood Marshall and say, hey, he's one of the biggest enemies that we have in the Black community. I mean, does this make any sense? Let's fast forward to now. Right now, we deal with in the Black community something called the school to prison pipeline. And you might see young Black children who are, rather than being in school, actually being suspended, and because the behavior and things like that are not being corrected, that they end up in prison at some point in time later on in their life. Bennu would say, hey, that may be a problem, but the biggest problem is the educated Negroes. I don't know, let's say the National Bureau of Economic Research. Now, and I'm freestyling because I don't have to prepare, put anything together because it's not necessary. But the National Bureau of Economic Research has talked about the fact that we have, as Black Americans, have faced issues with joblessness and losing jobs because as the border is continually open, the southern border is open, you have an influx of Mexicans or people crossing the southern border who end up in the same communities where we are, fighting and vying for the same jobs, where technical programs have left your school and have been replaced, because it's only a finite amount of money, be replaced by English second language courses. Or, I don't know, shootings, gangs, I don't know, you name it. You pick anything that you know that we face as Black Americans in the Black community, especially in the inner city. And then here, listen to what the brother's saying, that educated Black people are the biggest problem. Think about that. And so I would ask Brother Bennu and anyone else who shares this really ridiculous idea, show me on the doll where educated Black people have hurt you. Let's say it's May 31st, 1921, and you're in the Greenwood neighborhood of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and you're a doctor or a dentist, and there were multiple doctor's office and dentist office. There's an actual interactive map that you can see of Tulsa. I think the New York Times has one entire 3D interactive map where you can go through and see all of the educated and successful Black folks who are there, and a thriving Black community there. And then because there was an encounter with a young black man who I believe was an elevator operator and a white woman getting on an elevator, that the city ends up burned down. And say, hey, this may be a problem, but the biggest problem that we face is educated black people. And so we should, I don't know, maybe be excited about the fact that the doctor's offices were burned down, or at the very least that educated black people were removed. And so the biggest problem were the doctors, the dentists, the auto mechanics who went to school to learn auto mechanics. These people are the biggest problem. Though they provided for their own particular families, created a system of generational wealth for themselves, so that they paid taxes, that went to the schools, that went to the local libraries, the police department, the fire department. These people were the biggest problem. It could be Booker T. Washington, an educated fellow, and W.B. Du Bois. These people were the biggest problem. These black Americans trained by the New Englanders. These people are the biggest problem, according to Brother Bennu. This is the biggest problem we face as black Americans. And let's say today, where the, I don't know, what is this, 15 to 34-year-olds, black males, where the number one cause of death for them is homicide. The biggest problem that we face as black Americans is educated black people. They're the biggest problem in the black community. Educated black people. Barack Obama is one of the biggest problems for black people if he falls in that class. So on and so forth. You name it. Dr. Ben Carson, the brain surgeon who went over to Africa and restored sight to the blind over in Africa. One of the biggest problems for black people, being an educated Negro himself. And you name it. Just run through the list, and then and these people generally, I would say more often than not, you're going to come across, if Bennu's claim is correct, people who are the biggest problem in the black community. The claim is absolutely ridiculous. It's absurd, as Sister Dinu says. So just think about this. And later, when we get into the Q&A, we are going to discuss plenty of the claims. We're going to figure out if correlation equals causation. I don't need the rest of my time. I yield. Let's move to the next category.
All right. Brother Bennu, you have 2 minutes to rebut what the Slim Reaper just said.
In the opening sentence.
One second. Let me make sure I got this straight. I guess I got to stop sharing. Hold on. Oh, okay. There we go. Wonder why it wouldn't let me do it when I was sharing. Okay. All right, time will start when you start, brother.
Okay, he said that the main reason for education was basically to get jobs and to get a higher income and to create a better life for yourself. In the opening sentence of Amos Wilson's book, Reawakening the Natural Genius in Black Children, he states that too many of us see education as essentially a preparation for jobs, as a preparation for moving up in social status, and as a means of securing a better lifestyle. The major function of education is to help secure a people's survival. When we're talking about maximizing the intelligence of Black children, we're speaking not just in terms of ability to go through school and get better reading and writing averages to get into the right college. We're concerned with enhancing their intelligence so that it can serve as a means of maintaining and the actual physical survival of Black people. Nothing that he said is actually maintaining our survival. At any given moment, we're at we have just amount of defense now as we did in slavery, as defending ourselves from being put into slavery. He also stated that who was it, Booker T. Washington or whoever he stated was shown off to the French. So he's okay with being used as like black zoos were put together. You know what I'm saying? We're more than that. You feel what I'm saying? We need more than just assimilating with the dominant society that has their foot on our neck. And obviously he didn't listen to anything that I said, because I compared this educated black class to our defense on a football team. They are not defending us. There's nothing that they're doing that's defending us. They're just integrating into this society and basically leading us to the slaughter, like Martin Luther King said he was doing once he came to his right senses. So that's my 2 minutes to rebuttal what he said. And we could get into the next part.
All right, that's time. All right. Oh man, it's getting a little heated. All right, so now this time we're gonna do 5 minutes apiece. This time we're gonna start with the Slim Reaper. If you want to continue on from where you left off, or you want to respond to what the brother was saying, you got 5 minutes to do so.
Yeah, thank you. Let me know your timer's ready.
Time will start when you start.
I won't need the whole 5 minutes. If he cited Dr. Amos Wilson is a educated brother. I believe an HBCU educated brother. Dr. Amos would fall very likely into the pool of people who are our biggest problem. I don't know why we would cite Dr. Amos Wilson or any study or anything like that, because this sort of screams of education. And so I'm going to have to, sort of call out the inconsistency and the hypocrisy and how you undercut your entire argument. Cite me some niggas in jail. Cite me some niggas who can't read. Tell me what they say. And so what I'm going to need to see here very, very soon is you giving us some reason to think that uneducated people who have given us some reason to believe that that your claim is true. I don't know. And what I'm going to ask going forward, I don't know. I guess, yeah, what I'm going to have to ask is for, you to give us some reason to believe that being uneducated, for example, is a better outcome for blacks. I don't need the rest of my time because I'm waiting for the Q&A period. And so he is free to move on to his 5 minutes now. I'm waiting for the Q&A period, and this is where we're going to get into the meat and bones.
How much time he got left?
He cannot have my time. He has 5 minutes, and then after that, we'll go to the Q&A. Some people are trying to get to the game.
Well, he actually had 2 minutes to rebut, so you can get into your rebuttal, brother. Time will start when you start.
Okay. Obviously, you have a good education, but they didn't teach you anything about listening. Because I stated in the beginning when I came out that all educated black people were not the problem. I stated that it was the majority of educated people that were the problem. And I related it to a defense on a football team. If you have star defenders on your football team who are actually out there playing and giving their all, they are star defenders and they are for the team. But if the whole defense isn't playing on accord with one another, then those select individuals on that defense are not effective. And they have a bad defense, and that equates to them having a bad team. So no matter how good the offense is or the special teams is, the biggest problem on that team would be their defense, regardless of how many good players that they have on that defense. So I said that in the beginning of my argument. I don't know why you chose not to listen to that. And if this is your only argument, then you're going to be in some trouble. But I don't know. I'll give the rest of that's my 2 minute rebuttal to that.
All right. So now you got 5 minutes to continue your spiel, and your time will start when you start.
So he asked for some reasoning to make my claim have any validation. So I'll go to Marcus Garvey and his Black Star line when he started that. That was one of the biggest movements for Black people in history. It reached over 1 million people without any social media, any type of networking that we have now to this day, which is a major achievement in itself. And its goal was to have us produce a product and ship it throughout the world and trade with other countries. all of these other nations are going to grab a piece of Africa. Why can't the Black Americans come together and go grab a piece of Africa themselves and get the resources and create for themselves? I'm glad that you mentioned W.E.B. Du Bois, because he was one of the first. He started one of the first chapters of the Boule Association. In I want to say it was New York, maybe. Yeah, the New York chapter. And his goal was to keep intellectual blacks away from Marcus Garvey's movement. And that was basically in alignment with white supremacy and the white power structure that was dominating and using black people to their advantage. So Marcus Garvey put together a movement to help black people and to establish us with a form of currency and a form of our own resources, our own shipping lines. And it was undermined by W.E.B. Du Bois and a host of other Negroes such as yourself. When we look at what the remaking of the House Negro was, it was necessary for that group of Negroes to protect the white supremacy that was actually basically shitting on Black Americans in this country. So that is my main claim to say why the Black educated people are our worst enemy and the biggest problem in our community. Not all of them. I am saying that our biggest problem is the educated blacks who fight against the blacks that are trying, the quote unquote black people who are trying to make a difference and who are trying to free us from this oppression. And we can also look at Martin Luther King's movement. When he came to the end of his life, he actually said that he felt that he was leading his people into a burning house with this segregation. But let's not even go there. Let's look at the fact that while Martin Luther King was looking for reparations for black people, there was a lady named hold on 1 second. If I could find her name real quick. I'm sorry, but the name I can't can't find the name right now.
Pause the time or what?
No. You don't have to pause the time.
You can pause it. That's fine. Go ahead and pause this time, P.
Okay.
Your time paused at a minute 38.
Julia Clarice Brown. You could unpause it. Julia Clarice Brown, who went on record and stated that she was putting America ahead of her blackness and ahead of her people. So her being an American was more important than her being a black person. She was also an FBI informant. And we can look at the first actual black full-time FBI agent who went by Officer 100, who was essential in taking down Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line when he put it together. Also, Joshua Carbon, who was the educated captain of the ship that Marcus Garvey hired, who actually went behind him and overcharged Marcus Garvey for the ships that he made him overpay, and was actually essential in destroying the movement. So those are three right there, educated blacks who destroyed one of the most powerful movements that was created for black people to thrive and go forward. Now we can go forward into today and find more sellouts that have been selling out movements that have been trying to move forward. When we look at the Haitian Revolution, there were no educated blacks who put that together. But once they were free, there was an education system that was put in to create the educated class, who eventually became the leaders and the electees and ran for office, who actually sold them out to the French and any other country that they could find out. So there you go. There's that. And you can rebuttal that. I'll leave my 12 seconds up.
All right, that's time. Hey, I got to take a real quick second to shout out my brother Antoine Simon. Shout out to my little bro. Good to see you in here. I ain't seen you in here in a minute. Shout out to you. Leandre, you got a 2-minute rebuttal, bro. It's time to start when you start.
Okay. Now remember, the biggest problem is not gangs. It's not lack of education. It's not the fact that black literacy falls behind that of white literacy or that of Asian literacy. It's not lower college admission rates, lower high school graduation rates. It's not the fact that that African American kids, that depending on the number of African American schools that the African Americans enrolled at the high school, that they'll have lower rates of graduation with the higher prevalence of African Americans there. It's not lower household income. It's not, higher rates of infant death per capita. It's not the fact that African American males, like 15 to 34, are murdered, and that the number one cause of death is murder. It's not heart disease. It's not high blood pressure. It's not the lack of resource, not the lack of access to food, anything like that. For this brother, it's the fact that somebody decided to go to school. And what he continues to do is reference educated Black folks. And we're going to get into that, because Marcus Garvey was an educated brother who had a difference of opinion, but was an educated brother nonetheless. So I cannot wait to the Q&A session where we get into the specifics. I'm really looking forward to that portion. The biggest problem, according to this man, is the fact that you had most Black people, that they went and got an education. And he ties this to somehow to incarceration, skipping all of the political or educational turns, things like that throughout that time. But again, I'm looking forward to the Q&A session. I don't need the rest of my time. Let's get to the Q&A.
All right. You had 19 seconds. You sure you don't want to plug anything like you and Nick Portwood coming to teach about philosophy? You sure you don't want to plug anything?
Listen, I told you I'm getting Carson and I'm getting a whole bunch of people. We're gonna get a bunch of the big wigs on here to teach philosophy. We're gonna do it. We're gonna put it together.
All right. Y'all heard it here first. So I told y'all we moving in a little bit of a different direction. So, and while I got 26 people in here, Wednesday, December 20th, 7 p.m. Central Time, the infamous street apologist himself, Vocab Malone, will be debating Jacob Berman from History Valley. So y'all make sure y'all are here to check that out. Vocab Malone versus Jacob Berman. The subject is, was Paul a secret Roman agent? So did Paul infiltrate the Christian movement on behalf of the Roman Empire? So y'all make sure y'all come and check it out. Shout out to Nada Black, my real sister, same mama, same daddy. Shout out to you, little sis. All right, we at the Q&A. What did we say? We say 10 minutes, didn't we? Oh, yes. Man, Leandre is like a shark in blood-infested waters. Like so who want to start this off? How we gonna do this? We're gonna kick it back to Bennu because he started it off. Then you went. You want to go back to him, or you want to kick it off? How we going? What you think, Bennu?
I'm starting with the questions.
You can ask his questions. He got all the questions.
All right. So now remember, the brother got 1 minute to answer. I need y'all to kind of time yourself because I'm keeping the time for the question and answer period overall. So I'm keeping the 10 minutes. I need y'all to kind of police yourselves with the 1 minute. So time to start when the questions start.
Brother Bennu, do you have an education, a formal education?
I do have education.
A formal education?
No.
Okay. Are you one of the biggest problems for Black people?
No.
Okay. What percentage of Black people are the biggest problem for Black people?
I don't have a percentage.
Okay. Well, where did you get your analysis from that educated Black people are the biggest problem for Black people?
Through study and research.
Okay. And so what research can you give us? What research can you reference right now that we can look up?
Okay. You can look in Dr. Amos Wilson's book, Awakening the Natural Genius of Black Children. You can look up the study that NASA did when they hired George Land to figure out that the way you destroy geniuses in a society is to put them through school.
Okay. And so was he talking about specific geniuses though, right? Like, so with that quote, right? Is everybody who gets an education a genius?
Excuse me?
Is everyone who gets an education a genius? What is a genius?
No.
Okay. So what he was saying was that, if I'm understanding, and you correct me if I'm wrong, was he not saying that you destroy geniuses by putting them through the traditional educational system?
Correct.
Okay, and so what does that have to do with the topic tonight? Are you suggesting that the majority of the Black community are geniuses, or what are you suggesting? How does that connect?
I'm suggesting that through my research that Black children have an advantage at birth over any other group of people.
In what way?
And that study was done in the book by Mary Ainsworth.
In what way? In what way do they have an advantage?
The book is called
You're wasting time. In what way do they have an advantage?
In Uganda, at 9 hours old, the baby can be drawn in a sitting up position, able to prevent its head from falling backwards. It takes a European
child. But what does this have to? No,
listen, 2 days old. Sir, I thought I had a minute. I got it.
No. You do have a minute, but in the next debate, I get to call you back to my point. You're wasting time. In what way do they have an advantage educationally? Because this is what the question is about.
I'm talking about natural intelligence. From birth. So genius, natural intelligence.
So Black children are naturally geniuses?
Correct.
Okay, and so putting them through an education does what? That harms them?
Putting them through a European education is what harms them.
Okay.
Dr.
Now,
Amos Wilson
does your source say European?
Don't I have a minute to answer? You got 10 minutes to ask these questions. I got 1 minute to answer.
Okay, maybe you're unsure how Q&A works, but this is actual my time, and I need to keep you on time. So, if this is my question, does your source say anything about a European education stifling Black genius?
Yes.
Okay, what does it say?
It says that for us to sit here and be unaware of what's going on in this world means that we are out of touch with reality. And one of the major instruments of putting people out of their minds is education. It is often the very basis of making people ignorant. It is the intellectual and the PhD that have us in the problems that we are in today.
What does this have to do with Black folks having genius and European education stifling that genius?
I'm trying to tell you if you listen.
Okay, so please hurry.
Only being concerned with the facts, only being concerned with mathematics, only being concerned with being objective, only concerned with having a moral education, only concerned with an education that has no central values, morality, or religion. These sciences are so subdued of morality, love for humanity, and concern for their own children and their generations of their children that they sell themselves to the highest bidder and permit themselves to become tools of politicians.
Okay, now, did that have to do with the sciences specifically, the teaching of the sciences? Because I know you read a line there. What was that line about the sciences? Is that about teaching the sciences, the modern empirical sciences?
No, that's saying that these educated, these Black scientists who go through these schools and get educated, sell themselves out.
That's about the sciences though, right? That's about modern empirical sciences, not in education in general, correct?
That's about educated Blacks.
That's about educated in the modern empirical sciences, correct?
Educated Black people, correct.
Okay, so that quote, so that quote actually has nothing to do with Black folks in an education in the European system. That's about the teaching of the modern empirical sciences, which is devoid typically of things like philosophy and morality and ethics and things like that. Now,
it didn't say any of that in here. It just says that education.
Why are you ever talking? Why are you ever talking?
Because I'm answering your question.
That was no question.
What I said.
There was no question there.
But okay,
please stop wasting time. If he's going to take my time, we're going to need to pause time. Now, here's the thing. During the period of time where you were talking about,
this was a Q&A, not a dialogue. You were supposed to be asking me questions.
DMG, can you stop my time?
Okay. I stopped the time. So what? So what's happening is
he's supposed to be asking me questions,
right? He's asking you questions. If he's not satisfied with the way you answer, he's either trying to push the answer along or get to the next question because he only has 10 minutes. You'll be able to do the exact same thing to him when you get your 10 minutes.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Time to start when you start back.
So during the time period we are talking about where Black folks were twice as likely to have college degrees 6 times, the wealth grew 6 times, but they're worse off in home ownership, incarceration, and that sort of thing. Is that these two things correlated or that one caused the other?
Say that again.
During the period of time where you were talking, where Black education grew and that they were 2 times likely to have college degrees, 6 times as likely to have greater wealth, but home ownership was higher, incarceration and things like that were higher. Is that correlation or causation?
I think that was the cause of it.
Okay, and so what evidence do you have that that's the cause of it?
Well, the evidence is in the report, and that's what they concluded from their report. That's not my not me
Okay.
saying anything.
Okay, so
You're just
during that
reading the
period,
report that they put out.
okay, during that period of time, was redlining a thing?
Correct.
Okay, and so what did that have to do with blacks being educated?
I'm saying that the educated blacks were the ones that were pushing the blacks into the system that was redlining them.
Okay, no. Okay, so during that time, so from the St. Louis Fed, for example, the St. Louis Fed report. Have you ever read the St. Louis Fed report?
No, sir.
Okay, were blacks applying for the same sorts of home loans as
You
whites?
tell me. I don't know.
Now, I'm asking. This is the Q&A time. This is where you answer my questions.
I said I don't know.
Okay, so is it not true that blacks more often in the redlining studies by St. Louis Fed, for example, were actually applying for multifamily properties as opposed to single home properties, which is what their white counterparts were doing?
I would assume so.
Okay, and so if they were doing so, did that have any bearing on the denial rates of blacks for loans?
Did what have any the rates?
The type of loans they were applying for example, multifamily properties.
I think that the reason that they weren't getting the loans.
This is a yes or no question. Did that have any bearing? Yes or no?
I think it was a system that was in place that was keeping them.
No. This is a very yes or no question.
Yo, bro, let me answer the question. I'm gonna answer the question, bro.
Did the sort of loans they were applying for have any bearing on the outcome of their loan application?
What had bearing on the outcome was the system of oppression that was in place.
Did the sort of loans that they were applying for have anything to do with the outcome? Yes or no?
Yo, I just told you my answer to the question.
No. This is a yes or no.
If you don't like the answer to my question, kick rocks and go to the next question.
Nigga, ask your mom how to answer a question because I'm asking a very simple question.
Hey, okay. Listen.
Bro, stop talking.
You see how these educated blacks are, right?
I pause the time.
Listen, if I'm gonna ask a question, he has to answer the question I'm asking.
I answered it.
I got you, brother. Try to answer the question.
I did answer the question.
I'm asking a yes or no question.
Leandre, I know you trying to push it along,
what's wrong
but once he say he answered it, it ain't really nothing else he could do. So
no.
He need to put that wine down, yo. He drunk. He need to watch how he talk.
I'm not remotely drunk, but check it. Yeah. Okay, now watch it. Go ahead and start my time back up.
All right, let's go.
Was there an influx of immigration during the time period that you're talking about where incarceration went up?
Possibly, I'm not sure.
Okay, wouldn't that be germane to the outcome of your claim? Would that not be important to know?
Maybe for you.
Okay, was there a war on poverty during this time?
It was a war on black people.
Was there a war on poverty? It's a yes or no question.
It was a war on the impoverished.
Okay, did Lyndon Johnson declare war on poverty?
He declared war on black people.
Okay, and so during this period of time, when Lyndon Johnson declared war on black people, did this have anything to do with the disruption of black home ownership, incarceration, anything like that?
Yes.
Where were educated black people in that mix, and what did they have to do with that?
They were trying to incorporate black people into the system, helping further along the oppression of
black
people.
In what way were they trying to incorporate people into that system?
By getting them to vote, by getting them to pay taxes, by wanting to be in their schools, by wanting to get the same education, an equal education as the people who were kicking their ass. Yes, okay. That was the main cause of the oppression.
Okay.
Us as the educated blacks pushing us into the society that was dominating us for them to dominate us.
Okay, now watch
so that they could profit. I left that out.
Can you show me anywhere where uneducated black people were more successful than educated black people today? Like, give me an example today.
The Haitian Revolution.
And how's the Haitian Revolution doing right now?
It's doing horrible.
Okay, and how's the Haitian Revolution comparing to Black Americans, wealth-wise?
Horrible.
Okay, and how's home ownership rates?
It's worse.
Incarceration rates?
I'm not sure how the incarceration rates are.
And so, how is it better than to be uneducated than to be educated?
Because they're free.
Okay, and so are black people in
America
free?
And if they had the educated class working for them instead of against them, they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in. Hence my argument. Educated blacks are the main problem with black people. The uneducated fought for their freedom, and in return, the educated black people sold them out to the oppressors so that they can gain financially.
Give us some names of educated blacks who sold us out. Look at the names.
Okay, all righty. Let me go right here. Could you pause the time while I flip through these notes?
Oh,
real
we
quick?
cannot pause the time. Now, matter of fact,
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and pause the
Well, I'm
time.
about to say, keep your time running then, educated black man.
It's only 3 seconds left. So
Oh yeah, pause them 3 seconds because he needs this right here. Hold on.
I'll let you answer it though. But that's time. And then we're gonna switch over to your 10 minutes.
Okay. We're gonna go right
Hey,
here.
JJ 7000 is in the chat, Slim Reaper, and he say he is gonna humble your arrogant.
Tell him he should worry about expungement first.
You ever been locked up?
Me, yes.
You ever been locked up?
Is there no one else?
So why you talk about people being locked up and you was in jail yourself?
Because I'm not a convict.
You are. You was locked up. You went to jail.
Well, see, this is part of the reason why you don't have an education, because convict has a specific meaning.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh well, so does education.
I'm sorry?
So does education.
Right. That's true.
Right. It has 2 meanings.
Yeah, it has more than 2 actually.
Yeah, and one of them being is in it having an enlightening experience, and I've had a few of those, so I'm very educated.
So then you fail your own test. So I actually, I'll tell you what.
Hey, listen, go ahead and answer the question, because you get 10 minutes to ask the Slim Reaper whatever question you want, and you can push him along the way he pushed you along with his bully tactics.
Henry Minton, Algernon Jackson, Edwin Howard, Eugene Henson, Richard Warwick were part of the first Greek secret society, Sigma Pi Phi, formed to bring together a select group of educated black men and women fashioned after Yale's Skull and Bones, offering select perks and advancement in return for loyalty to white supremacy. And they also believed in the talented 10th, which is that 10%, the educated 10% were to rule over the uneducated 90% of black people, and they were under. So you can liken that to when you watch vampire movies, and when the vampires go to sleep at night, they send humans out to do their dirty work. Those are the boule, and those are the educated I'm talking about. And once again, I'm not talking about every black person that went to school and got an education, because every one of them is not the problem. But in a whole, the educated class is the problem, because they are not defending the nation of people. They separate themselves and use themselves as a tool to oppress us and help white supremacy.
Gotcha.
So he just called all you educated Negroes, because I got a GED. I got a GED. So he just called all you educated Negroes, like my sister, not a black in the chat, like Leandre the Slim Reaper right here on the panel, like my boy, the humble scholar and Harvard fellow himself, B. Wash, like my big bro, the wise, the distinguished Julius Reinhardt, like my big bro, BK apologist, like my sis D New, like my lovely queen upstairs. He just called all y'all familiars, like that cop in the first Blade movie with the glyph on him, like dude from Walking Dead in Blade 2 with the glyph in under his tongue. That's what he just called y'all. Y'all work for y'all the humans that work for the vampires during the day. I just want y'all to realize what y'all are the equivalent of. But go ahead. We're gonna get a brother 10 minutes. Ask the Slim Reaper as many questions as you can get in, brother. If you're not satisfied with his answer, push him along and get to the next question if he continue to stall. We're going to see what the Slim Reaper made of for real now. Time to start when you start.
Okay. Are you a part of a fraternity or organization?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, I'm a part of a couple organizations, Law and Pathways, the Historian Society, things like that, but not a part of any fraternities or anything like that. Okay, I am the
all right, enough. What have you done personally to help the advancement of black people?
Well, let's see. So one of the things that I've done is, I do post-conviction work through multiple companies, and this is for black folks who are incarcerated. I provide discounted rates for people who need appeals, post-conviction appeals. This includes renegotiating prison sentences for multiple people. I have managed multiple group homes here. Majority of the kids who are in the group home system are going to be minority students because they're least likely to be adopted or placed in foster care. And so I've managed multiple of these group homes. I paid out of my pocket and driven my own vehicle, used my own mileage to make sure kids get back and forth to school. I've advocated on behalf of kids in courtrooms. Let's see, I've done gang intervention. I have filled out college applications for a wide number of people in my community. Let's see, I don't know, the list goes on and on.
Okay,
Making sure that people
enough.
signed up for
That's
school.
enough.
You name it. Pick
And
something.
I'm sure that they appreciate that, and I'm sure that the system of white supremacy appreciates that as well. Everything that you name is basically just dealing with the problem and helping nurture it. Not
This does sound like a question.
You're wiping your nose.
This doesn't sound like a question. Is there a question?
You got a question?
My question. Yeah. It sounds like you're wiping the nose to try to cure the cold. What did you actually go to school for?
Okay, so I went to school for law. I went to school for political science and for philosophy. How about yourself?
For law, political science, and for philosophy?
Yeah, multiple subjects. I also went for biblical interpretation. Yeah. So how about you? What'd you go for?
Okay. Yeah. You had your chance to ask your questions. You should.
That was rhetorical. I wasn't actually expecting an answer.
Oh yeah, because I could show you what I did go to school for if you wanted to.
Don't fall for it.
I would love it.
You asking questions. Don't let them make you bait you into answering the question. You asking him the questions. Go ahead.
Now when we talking about the law and judicial system, would you say that this prison to school pipeline is something that could be avoided, or do you think that this is something that's necessary for blacks to go through to become educated?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question. Can you rephrase that?
School to prison pipeline. Do you think that is a necessity for black children to go through in order to get out to become successful in this society, or do you think there's another way?
Okay, so the school to prison pipeline, I think you've completely misstated what the school to prison pipeline is. That describes a specific phenomenon.
Could you answer the question, bro? I don't need an explanation. I just want you to
first have to be asking a coherent question. So maybe you want to ask a different one, because that
I just need you to answer the question.
Okay, so I'm trying to point out something. The question is not coherent.
You don't understand the question, is what you're saying.
No. The question is not coherent to anybody who has ears.
No, it is.
And a working brain.
Do you think that it is necessary for black children to go through this educational system, which is described as a school to prison pipeline?
That's not what the school to prison pipeline is. Why I'm telling you the question is not coherent. Do you have another question?
No. Are you going to answer that question?
Okay, brother. Let me stop your time. I stopped the time. Can you rephrase the question for me?
I'm asking you, do you think that the education system that is in place today is the best way for black children to come out and be successful in today's society?
Yes, the educational system that we have today is the best way, especially for black males, for them to come out on top in this society. For black males, you get yourself a job. You graduate high school.
You answered the question already.
Okay, that's fine. You ready to rest my answer?
That's enough. I don't want to hear the extraness because you cut me off when I was trying.
That's fine. Just go.
All right, cool. Now, also, I would like to say, do you think that degrees as a whole, getting degrees as a whole, mean anything important when it comes to revolution and liberation?
Generally, yes. And I would tell you this because for multiple reasons, one of which
it was a yes or no question. Thank you. Now, could you answer this question? Do you think, can you name me any people with degrees that have led successful revolutions?
Martin Luther King, for example.
That was not successful. He died.
Okay,
and nothing came.
Listen, you can call it not successful all you want to, but you're going to be arguing with every historian who's ever lived.
That's not
Martin Luther King was the most pivotal character of the civil rights movement. And I would say Thurgood Marshall, who argued
Martin Luther King said it himself that he was doing his people a disservice.
It's false. That's you taking that quote out of context because you don't have an education. Thurgood Marshall argued Brown versus the Board of Education before the Supreme Court.
For what?
What do you mean for what? In order to end segregation that got more blacks, according to what you said, graduating from high school, that has resulted in higher income, in much, much higher income for blacks per capita prior to.
All right. Thank you. But that just goes back into what I said before, that education is not
Marcus
just about
Garvey, that
getting
you
money.
said was a success.
It's not just
was an
about getting.
educated
Hold
brother
on, hold
in
on,
Britain
hold
of
on.
all places.
I'm answering. Could you stop
Bro,
my time?
we're getting bogged down. We're getting bogged down. We're getting bogged down. I paused the time at 4:27.
Yeah, like yo, he's real emotionally
You can
unstable.
stop
Like
complaining,
he's,
bro. Just get back to
Okay.
talking.
like he's
Stop
acting, you know
complaining.
what I'm saying? Like, what's
Stop
up with
complaining.
your
Come on.
man, man?
Bro, ask your next question, brother. Ask your next question.
I yield the floor, man. I can't. This guy is
Okay,
just,
so I'll take the rest of the time.
this guy just some more. I
No,
know
no,
you
wait
can't have
a
as much
minute.
of my time.
You got 4:27, bro. You sure you want to yield the time? I'm sure you got
Yeah.
more questions.
Nah, I have no more questions. He answered them all. And no, you can't have my time.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is now we're gonna go to the Q&A. I mean, I said the Q&A. I have a question for each of you, and then we'll open it up for the chat. So my question to Leandre: is there any instance that you can think of, Leandre, where educated Black people have mishandled their responsibilities to the wider Black community? And I guess the second part to that question would be, do you feel the educated Black person, individual, has a responsibility to the collective?
Yeah, so I'm going to answer the question in full. So what I would say is that you do have instances of educated Black folks being wrong about something, but I do want to point out right at the outset that this is completely separate from the topic of the debate. Is that this the biggest problem that Black folks have? So, for example, in the W.B. Du Bois versus Booker T. Washington debate, Booker T. Washington was the person who I believe was more correct in the debate and stuff back and forth. These are both two educated brothers, though. And so Booker T. Washington, I think, posited what was a political solution to the Black problem. I think Martin Luther King posited what was a political solution to the Black problem. And numerous thinkers posited what was a political solution to the Black problem. But there are multiple ways of answering that question. And I do not think that the answer to the question was that there was a political solution to the problems of Black folks, but I think that these were grassroots solutions. And so, but that's not the biggest problem that Black folks face. I would say that the biggest problem that Black folks face, especially in present day, is that we have been sort of handicapped and crippled from teaching personal and moral responsibility, praise and blame, and that these are some of the biggest problems. And as you know, DMG, I presented research on this specific topic. And so I think that Black folks have been wrong. I would have disagreed with Barack Obama, especially second term Barack Obama, on all sorts of policies and procedures that he put forth. But Barack Obama wasn't the biggest problem that Black folks face. We have much, much larger problems, much more prevalent problems, many problems that far outweigh having someone as the federal head of the country who looks like me, and that your local politics is more important than even the federal politics. And then what was the second question so I can answer?
Do you feel that the educated Black individual has a responsibility to the Black collective?
Yeah, so here's what I would say. There is diminished responsibility that diminishes starting with your family, on my particular view. That the largest debt that you owe is to your immediate family, to your loved ones, your wife, your kids, your family, things like that. And then it diminishes out from there. And so you don't have the same obligation to provide and to feed or to educate or to provide for your cousins as you do for your son and daughter. And then so on and so forth. And then when you go out to the larger community, the place in which you live and you exist, you do have some sense of responsibility there, but it's not like that you do for your family, for your loved ones. Your ultimate responsibility is to your first ministry, to the people in your own home. And then that diminishes out from there. And so I would say, like the Apostle Paul, I think the Apostle Paul had a special care and concern for his Jewish people. And I think we read some of that in the scripture. But so there is some sense of responsibility for the community from which you come from. And it's part of the reason why I do some of the work that I do in my community. But that's diminished. It's certainly not the same. So I do just want to draw that distinction.
Got you. All right. Lord Bennu, the shepherd. My question to you is, you actually cite a couple of educators. Shout out to my sister Not a Black for sending that super sticker. Appreciate that, my sister.
Don't send him nothing, please. Don't send him nothing.
Hey. Again, same mama, same daddy. So, you know.
Where Rabbi Lewis at?
Chill out. Speaking of Rabbi Lewis, we got 42 people in the chat. If all of y'all send me $1 to that Cash App, $DMG the Poet, that'll give me a full tank of gas in the morning. I appreciate it. Y'all can go ahead and hit that Cash App, support the channel. Much appreciated. I don't care if it's $1 or $2, $3, $4, $5. The more, the merrier, the higher the number, the better. If y'all mad about me asking for money, I don't know what to tell you. This all of this beautiful imagery that you see on the screen between myself, the little Indian dude, and my vegan brother, it don't happen by osmosis. So that being said, Lord Bennu the shepherd, you sourced and quoted a couple of educated brothers who are near and dear to me, Amos Wilson and Frantz Fanon. I know you didn't specifically say all educated people were the problem, but when you're not as specific about which ones are and which ones aren't, how do you draw the distinction? I guess this is the question. How do you draw the distinction between which educated Black people are beneficial and which ones aren't? Because again, you do source some educated people, but so which ones aren't and which ones are, and what is the distinction that makes one either or?
Well, I would say that the ones that are for our people, those are the educated Blacks that I'm speaking about that are not the biggest problem. But the biggest problem are the ones that oppose us being separated from our oppression. So when I talked about W.E.B. Du Bois and the other coalition that helped put together the Boule Society, their main objective was to destroy Marcus Garvey's movement and what he was putting together. So Marcus Garvey wasn't an educated Black man, but Marcus Garvey reached millions of people. He was across different countries to help improve the situation of Black people and separate us from our oppressor. But I think that any educated Black that goes in and tries to keep us integrated in this system and doesn't find a way to get us out of it is a part of the problem and is our biggest problem. Because like the brother at the bottom of the screen was stating that he was saying that our biggest problems would be some of the institutions that are oppressing us. And I would say that those institutions were started by the educated class of other nations and nationalities. But our educated class doesn't set up our own institutions to free us and create a system where we can not only get along, but actually rival and be better than other people and be in a competition for land, resources, and opportunity. They want us to be a part of this society because they see themselves as one of our enemies and not one of us. Like the good brother that I'm debating against, he likes to call people jailbirds and make fun of people's misfortunes and mishaps that they've gone through in life. But then he says that he goes and he helps people get out of jail and he fights for people to get out of jail. How could they actually respect you, or how could you actually respect them if that's your idea of who they are? If you think they're just jailbirds and uneducated Negroes, and that's how you feel about them, because you called me that plenty of times. You feel what I'm saying? So if you feel like that about them, how are you actually helping them? You're not. You're helping yourself and making yourself feel good. So
I'm running this shit. Sit your $5 ass down before I make change.
You gotta stop being so liberal with those sound bites. Otherwise, I'm gonna take offense.
So
you're not saying nothing worthy of it though. So that's why you're not.
we got another brother who studies the law on here, and I got a bone to pick with the brother because we did a show years back, and the brother ain't been messing with me ever since. I don't know what happened, what I did. I didn't have her then, and I don't have her now, so I know it ain't because I ain't on her like him. Hey, I even shout out the rosters in my opening. I even added the rosters to my opening, and the brother still don't mess with me. Zion Warchild.
Yo, what's happening, yo? What's happening, yo? Now, DMG, man, I just shouted you out. You know what I'm saying? I just literally tagged you. You know what I'm saying? Asking you if I brought some debaters over here to smush their heads in, would you give me a platform to facilitate the work? So,
hey, you already know.
And there was a couple of times I was going to bring somebody over. They were scared to come over to Paradigm Shift. They, you know what I'm saying? Some people act like they ain't gonna get a fair shake. And I'm like, you know.
Because of this light-skinned dude in the corner, man, the Slim Reaper be reaping, man.
Now, Slim, you know, and this is a good discussion. Slim, I appreciate and I agree with you when it comes to, I don't agree with anti-intellectualism. It's really sad, honestly.
That's not what I'm promoting.
That's what it sounds like, my brother.
That's because you're not doing a good job of listening. I said before,
no, you're not doing a good job of arguing. You're the persuasive arguer. I'm here to listen.
Hold on, y'all.
Let him rock. Don't do it.
Let him deal with Slim Reaper and you and him. I'm sure he probably got a question for you too.
Yeah. So yeah. See, okay. So let me ask the first two. How do I say your name, brother? Shepherd. Bennu.
No, like you never forgot.
Okay.
You've been new.
Okay. Con. All right. So you believe that anyone who goes into an educational system here in America that they are somehow being pushed into the prison to school to school to prison pipeline?
No.
Was that what you suggested?
No.
Because it sounded like it. But okay. So my second question to you is:
would you like me to explain what I was
yeah,
trying to
do, man? With all humility.
Huh? You was breaking up.
Please do. Go ahead. Yeah. Please explain, if you don't mind.
I was saying that was a system that was set in place, and that we go through that. Even the Slim Reaper has gone through that, and he's come out however he felt like he's came out. He actually did go to prison. So
nope.
You said you did. You
said jail. Jail and prison are not the same thing.
He went to jail.
He's not a convict.
He was locked up.
You know.
He was locked up.
Well,
I never been to prison either, but he's called me a jailbird numerous times.
You've been convicted though.
You can't just use the term convict for somebody who was in holding before, you know what I'm saying, a trial or what have you. You know,
where was they holding him at his house?
No, that's the county. That's county, bro.
You
know the difference between county and the
wait. It's county what?
Between county and the thing, my brother.
Is it a county what?
That's why
it's holding. It's a jail, not a prison. That's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
Thank you. But like I was saying,
right. You know what? Here's the really interesting thing with that. I don't want to get away. But yeah, go ahead, brother.
That's a system that's set in place for us to be victims of this society, for the police to get a piece of us, then for the lawyers to get a piece of us, then for the judge to get a piece of us, then after the judge, the probation officer gets a piece of us, then the system is recycled and repeated again. What I'm saying is that system was set up by educated people. And what I'm saying is we have our own class of educated people who don't put a system in place where we can go through something separate and independent of that, which they could do, but they don't. So they let us go through that because they sell out and they go and they become integrated with the society and go get a job and sell their resources and abilities out to the highest bidder, and they become a part of this society, and they basically want everybody else to be too because they got an opportunity, and nobody takes on the identity of a nation, and everybody's out for themselves. Like the brother said, he's only looking out for his family, and he doesn't see us all as a family.
And he talked about not being able to listen. Did you hear what I said? That's crazy. Go ahead.
Hey, Zion, respond. We got
Yeah.
another brother in with who got questions.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. My
I think he
brain
had a
hurts.
second.
Right.
I think he had a second question.
Sorry, yo. No disrespect. I hear what you're saying. My last question to the shepherd dude is what is it? So the educational system as you see it in this country in America, that is a part of this system, correct?
Correct.
And I'm just setting up the premise for my next for the actual question.
Is the school system a part of the system? Is that what you asking me?
Is the school system, saying going to school? Let's say let me rephrase it. Going to school or going into the say educational system, kindergarten all the way up to high school and then to college. Do you see that as a part of this dark post-apocalyptic, because that's what you're painting, honestly. You see that as a part it's a negative. That's just for black people. That's my question.
The mindset of the people that come out of these organizations that aren't for the liberation of the people that they are is the problem.
Okay. All right. I'll rest. All
right.
No
We'll get back around to you. So we got a powerful brother who I engaged with for the first time the other night on Sarnetta, and happy the brother decided to come over. I'm hoping to do a solo show with just him. So, hey, brother, please introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Peace and blessings, everybody. My name is Cosmic Sankofa. I think I have a question for both of the panelists, or for anybody on the panel to answer. And that is, what role did the middle class and the educated middle class play with the colonial system? How did the colonial settlers or the colonizers use the middle class or educated class in their system of colonization?
Slim Reaper.
I don't know what this has to do with the topic or with the debate talk specifically to black folks, but what I would say is that because it wasn't specific to black folks, I would say that people who would have been properly termed middle class during that time period would have been people like the New Englanders who actually worked tirelessly, and like the Quakers to educate black folks, and that actually produced the class of black intellectuals that ended up resulting in places like the Greenwood neighborhood in Tulsa, or places like Allensworth, California, the first all-black city, black judges, black police force, that sort of thing, or the hundreds of other places across the country where black folks, particularly ones like with Colonel Allen Allensworth, who went around grabbing folks who would have been a part of the black middle class and started entire cities. But he wasn't the only person who did that. That took place all across the United States, where black folks who were concerned with getting an education, having a family, working for a living and having an income, that these people then went and started entire black cities. And so I would say that that's one of the roles that they played, white and black.
All right, Brother Bennu, you need the brother to repeat the question?
Yeah, repeat the question for me, bro.
Yeah, what role did the black middle class, or did the middle class of any of the colonies of the colonizers play in their system, in the colonization system? But I said black educated middle class.
What role did the black educated middle class play in colonialism?
Yeah. How was the black educated middle class used in the colonial system?
As slaves?
In general.
They was used as tools. Black people have been used as tools by every people on this planet for as long as I could remember, or as long as I've known. But I don't see. Maybe I'm not understanding the question.
Okay, well, let me just say it like this. Like, you don't have a nation without education, period. Like, all black nations that existed in history have had education. That's not the point. I think, like, this conversation, the point is like how the intelligista of different communities have been used. And I think your point, Brother Bennu, and that point, like that point in general, is like our intelligista is used to perpetuate the system of white supremacy racism on our people in different ways. And so like, and then the carrots are being held out for material gain, which is what we all want. You know, that's not something that any system that's ever existed, you know, the people inside that system has wanted the development of the material situation at all times. But what's happening now, and I think in this discussion, because this is this discussion is like people are not like looking at the way in which the system uses the Black middle class to perpetuate itself, like taking the talents of our brothers and sisters and then using it to perpetuate the system, which is really not the problem, because you don't really find a lot of our people looking for revolution like you're talking about, Brother Bennu. There's been very few of our people that's looking for a revolution. We've looked to revise the system and make it more palatable for us to exist in, not really up and overturn.
It's very damn question here. What is going on here?
Nobody questioned, so I'm telling you the premise of
it. He was explaining, he was basically breaking down why he was asking the question.
Listen, he keeps saying intelligista, and I'm trying, what the hell is going on over here?
Let the brother rock out, man. Let him rock out.
Yeah. I'm not really. I mean, I asked. I mean, people are not understanding why I'm asking the question, so I'm telling you why I asked the question.
I would say that our intelligista was used.
Why do we keep saying intelligista?
I don't know, because he said it, bro, and I'm trying to talk to the brother on his.
Hey, let the brother finish, and then we gotta get to JJ.
All right.
Yeah, no, but that's the basis of the basis of my question. Is the Black middle class and the middle class of all colonial societies is used to perpetuate the interest of that colonial society. You know, you all are talking specifically about America, but when we look at the colonial system in general, that's the behavior and that's the pattern.
So I'm gonna just say that I think that Black people in this country are prisoners of war. And we've been at war with a group of people for a long time now, and I think that war has been reworded and made to look like something else that it isn't. And we've come under the assumption that we're not at war, and that we are actually side by side with the people that are oppressing us. So the more education that we receive, the more we think that we're on the same level as the people who are oppressing us. But like I said before, you judge a tree by the fruit that it bears. And judging by the Kerner report, 50 years of this, the more educated we've gotten, the less we've become to achieve. So it's obvious from the Kerner report that our educated class isn't producing a fruit that is fruitful for our community.
Oh my God. Is that Cube who was just talking?
No.
Okay, it says no. DMG, read that out loud.
Intelligista is a status class.
That's not, don't say intelligista.
That's what it said.
Sound it out.
Gatasia?
That's what I'm talking about right there.
JJ 7,000. It's on you.
That's on me? Yeah,
if this ain't on topic, you better mute this Negro and remove him.
Come on, shh, be quiet.
Make sure it's on topic. He like
you already, bro.
Yeah, you're already scared. So you want to come on here with your nose in the air and your little paperback goddamn crack certificates that you got. And you want to
who you got a question?
Let him cook, man. Yo, DMG, let him cook, man.
Right.
No, because hey, you don't know. You don't know. They'll be going back and forth forever.
No.
JJ, they got their own debate coming up. JJ, who you got a question for?
Oh yeah. No, the question is, yeah, but I do agree that we do need educated Black people. But the problem is the ones who get educated, like this certain particular guy on the panel, he didn't got his little ran, and now his nose way up here where he don't see his people down here no more. See, somebody like me, when I get up there, I'm gonna uplift my people. You see what I'm saying? Like Tahuti. Here's an example.
When I get up there.
Bro,
Is there a question?
bro,
Is there a question?
Yeah, I do have a question for you.
What's the question?
The question is, can you be quiet while JJ talk, or be a
DMG,
man?
what's the question, bro? Come on, man.
Tell him to be quiet. See, here's the problem is. Here's the problem is, you think you could interrupt everybody. You think you could say, "Oh, you want to control the narrative. You want me to stop talking," when you're the boring one. You're boring as hell, bro. You don't have any information. You're full of ad homs, and I'm gonna humble you in this debate. This
I'm gonna send you a friend request, bro.
This guy is running around here with Christmas trees and
DMG. Now we're talking about Christmas.
Be quiet, bro. You're disrespectful. For an educated person, you have no power.
JJ, remember y'all getting y'all.
I'm gonna watch my football game. It's obvious. Listen, bro. I'm not finna yell.
Listen, ask your question.
I come on here, it's JJ, be quiet. JJ, be quiet. But you let Black Jesus run his mouth for 35 minutes.
JJ, Black Jesus was part of the show. Don't come over here telling me what the fuck to do, man. I don't deal with that shit. So this ain't the play.
It's cool.
Well, then get the fuck off.
I will get off this whack ass program, bro.
Get your bitch ass off of here, man. I don't know who the fuck you think you talking to. But hey, listen, family. I apologize, but these people, they got your boy messed up.
Brother Bennu, I would just advise you, if you haven't ever seen JJ when he enters the thing, he'll ramble for 35 minutes instead of asking. So there's a reason.
This is why I asked him to ask his question, because he think he's supposed to ramble. This nigga think he a superstar and supposed to get preferential treatment when he come on somebody's platform. And to the fool who said I'm not being fair, how can you be fair to an animal who act like that on somebody else stuff? Don't tell me I ain't being fair. And if you don't like it, get your ass out of here.
Hey, listen, and I would just say, listen, check it. It ain't just when I'm on, right? It's multiple times. The brother come on, he's constantly have to be reminded, hey, what's your question or what's that? He'll go and go. So we're trying to do is nip that in the bud. Who was next? Who had a question?
What's up, B-Wash?
Oh, B-Wash.
What up?
Can I just say B-Wash is the most educated Negro in the room 99% of the time? B-Wash, why are you doing this to our community?
Wait, say it again. You went out. What I'm doing in the community?
Why are you doing this to our community, man? You super educated, bro. That it means it's most likely you're the problem.
I guess so. That's all I can say. But peace to everybody. Peace to the chat. Peace to everybody on the show. Peace to the brothers on the panel. Good debate. I had to step away for a second watching this Cowboys Eagles game. Y'all got me to step away from a good football game. But I got a question for both of the brothers, because I'm gonna ask a question. Since the topic at hand is about education for Black people, and I'm gonna kind of center it down to education in Black America. I'm gonna ask the Bennu first, and then once you answer, I'll re-ask to Leandra. Can you show me the evidence that you have, kind of land that plane, that shows specifically that educated Black people, and I'm guessing, and since you said it's not everyone, I'm assuming that you mean by a margin of 50 plus 1. Can you show me evidence of a margin of 50 plus 1 educated Black people? By 50, I mean 50%. That have been detrimental to the progress of Black people in the United States of America. And I want to be very clear. Can you show me specific or empirical evidence, not just names, not just association with a fraternity or society or anything like that, specifically to say, hey, these X number of Black educated people represent a number or a study of 50% plus 1 of educated Black people that have been detrimental to the progress of Black people in the United States of America?
That's directed to me, right?
Yes, sir.
So I'm not saying that is 50 plus 1% or whatever percent. What I'm saying is that the major issues that have stifled the Black community were from educated Black people. So from that being said, that is our biggest problem. Not to say that educated black people aren't our biggest solution to get out of the situation that we're in. I never said that. And that's what you guys are trying to imply, that I'm saying that every educated black person or majority of the educated black people are a problem. When I stated the Marcus Garvey movement, I showed you that W.E.B. Du Bois actually went up against Marcus Garvey, and was his main goal was to keep intellectuals and black people with money out of that organization. And we know that that organization right there was one of the most powerful movements in our community ever. You feel what I'm saying?
So
That
to follow
there,
up with that,
and it was just, and we could just use him as one. So that
okay, so let's stay with that one then. Did Marcus Garvey had in his for lack of a better word, board of directors, his crew, did he have educated black people with him?
Yes.
Okay. Did W. Du Bois have non-educated black people supporting him?
No.
W. Du Bois did not. He did not have.
In his organization?
No, completely. Did he have non-educated black people supporting his organization?
That was rooting for him?
In support.
Probably. I assume so.
Okay, so if we take that to be true, so what you stated is that W. Du Bois represented the educated folk, and Marcus Garvey represented the non-educated folk. But we just stated that in both of their camps, they both had educated and non-educated folks. So empirically, I'm asking, what evidence can you say that it is the educated class, or those who have been educated, are the ones that has caused the problems? Given that in this specific scenario that you've just stated, that both of these gentlemen at the time had both educated and non-educated black folks within their respective movements. Like, is there a data point? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, where is to say, like, hey, these are 20 educated black people that specifically sold us out, took us back, and went to our movements and destroyed them unequivocally.
Okay.
In the United States of America.
I stated this before, but I know you said you was in and out and watching the football game. But if you do some research on Officer 800 for the FBI, he was actually the first full-time black FBI agent who was an educated black man who infiltrated Marcus Garvey's movement and was instrumental in bringing it down and destroying it. Also, Joshua Corbin, who was the captain that Marcus Garvey hired, who was an educated black man who deceived Marcus Garvey into spending funds that he didn't need to spend and exhausting the funds for the movement. So he was detrimental in bringing down that organization and that movement. That's two educated black men who were the biggest problem to Marcus Garvey's movement. So in Marcus Garvey's movement, we can say that educated black men or educated black people were the biggest problem.
Well, you gave evidence of two, but I'm trying to figure out, where's the education as a means to, one, destroy his movement, and then two, that still isn't necessarily answering my first question of saying, where is the data that shows that educated black people in particular have been the cause of destruction?
It's in the FBI's records.
So if I go look in the FBI, so to be clear, if I go look in the FBI records, I'm going to find their report stating that educated black people are the detriment, are the hindrance to the progress of black people in their movement in America.
They're going to show you educated black people that were educated by this system, who were able to be used as tools to bring down a movement that was for black people. So if we have movements that are going for black people, and if we are educating our children in the ways to support us in our liberation and our freedom, there's no way that a society of outsiders can tell them to do otherwise, because they know the goals and they know the agenda and they know what we need as a people. But obviously it's people that go to these schools who don't, and think that our main objective is to profit and to support our families and to separate themselves from the 90%. Like I said, the Boulets mission, they believe in the talented 10th, and they
Yeah,
have.
remember, I didn't ask y'all the bullet time. I wanted the evidence. Like, I hear your
It's
opinion,
right in there. It's
right?
right in there. It's right in there.
But
It's right
you're
in their philosophies. They call themselves archons, which are basically gatekeepers and prison wardens. When you what are you? You're religious. What are archons in the Bible? Archons. How do you pronounce it? What are they in the Bible?
I don't know Archon, but
Okay, well, I'll tell you, they're basically gatekeepers and prison wardens to keep the masses and that's what the Boule call themselves.
okay.
So these people,
So
so
follow.
wait,
Is the
listen,
Boule
hold
representative
on,
of all educated black people in
wait,
America?
just let me answer this question. I mean, just let me make this statement. And they
Well, I
believe
just want
in,
the evidence to
I'm
that's
about to
all.
tell
Like
you it.
I
I'm about
just
to tell
want.
you it. They
Okay.
believe in the talented 10th, right? And that's the idea that the best and the brightest 10% should rule over the other 90%. And they've historically benefited from white supremacy and
Is that the
black.
definition of talented 10 by W.B. Du Bois? By chance?
No, that's the definition of the talented 10th by what they actually do.
No. Oh, so to be clear, is that W. Du Bois definition of the talented 10th, or is that your interpretation of what you believe what they mean by the talented 10th?
That's not I don't think W.E.B. Du Bois said that verbatim, but if you listen to what he's saying, that's what he's saying.
Well, to me, if you're gonna, respectfully, if you're gonna quote someone and blame them for a movement,
I didn't quote anybody.
I'm saying if you're going to assert someone and blame them and their organization for a movement, and then you use their phraseology, I'm sorry, like the talented 10th, I would assume that you would quote him verbatim in the context of what he means by the talented 10th.
I never quoted him or said anything that W.E.B. Du Bois said. But if you know what W.E.B. Du Bois said and what the talented 10th is, by all means, tell me.
I didn't make the claim. That's just in the bird. I didn't say W. I
I
didn't
thought it
say
was. I told you what it meant to me and what I thought it was and what I think
right.
it means to our people.
So you're
So if
saying
you have something to go against that, then
so
say that.
respectfully. So respectfully, you just answered you said that that's what I said. Is it his definition, or is it your opinion of the data? And you just said like, well, that's what I believe. But again, my first question was just asking for where I can find that empirical data. So I guess I gotta ask DMG, respecting your time. I ask Leandre.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up, good brother?
How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
That didn't
So
even make no sense. You feel me? Like
I know.
if you know what the talented 10th is, right? Then
Hold on.
then dispute it.
Bennu, he moving on to Leandre. After
Yeah.
that, we're gonna get back to Zion Warchild.
Yeah.
Well, wait, how he just gonna make a claim and try to act like he's stunning on me?
But
When
brother,
he
I didn't make the claim. I'm saying I'm sorry. Let me
you just did. You just said. You just
Leandre.
said.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Um, what's going on, good brother? So so to keep on topic and everything. And I know you're in the negative that you don't believe that education is the biggest hindrance to black people in America, and I'm assuming you would assert the positive. That is actually something that is our biggest fight against white supremacy. Again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think I can ascertain based off our previous conversations, your viewpoints, that education is our biggest kind of slap in the face to white supremacy in America. Correct?
Correct, sir.
Okay. So if I was to ask you, your list of 3 or 4, or even 5 things that are detriments to the progress of Black people in America, could you give me the evidence and data to support your claims? Like specifically, that I can say, hey, look, he made such claim. I can read this data and say, you know what, it correlates to what his claim has stated.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things that I would say is that I would say that one of the biggest principal issues in the Black community would be the way that we've sort of been systematically deprived of our opportunity to reform ourselves via praise and blame. I would cite, for example, some of the research and stuff that I've done that I presented at the university on this particular subject. When looking at praise and blame through the lens of Matthew Talbert and his argument on praise and blame as being necessary for the securing of human goods. So I would go there. I would also actually cite lack of education being one of these principal issues. I would cite persons like Dr. Walter E. Williams, Dr. Thomas Sowell, for example. Black Education, Myths and Tragedies is a book that he has on some of the ways we've sort of been stifled in this respect with education. I would also cite the welfare state. I think Cato Institute has a study 50 years since the war on poverty or something like that. When talking of the disruption of the Black family, and when the Black family went, then you had all sorts of issues with everything. It could be education, it could be the things that led to the school to prison pipeline, and any number of issues and things like that. Because of things like Lyndon Johnson's war on poverty, which then sort of replaced the man in the household with a welfare check. And that this seemed to really disrupt the Black progress, which was 4 times the rate that it was prior to the implementation of things like the war on poverty. And whereas I think that people decided that what they wanted to do was try to be of an assistance to folks who were statistically and in every way a little further behind, but that ended up sort of retarding the progress. And so I would say that education is the principal means of overcoming every single thing that I just listed. Education for Black folks is how we overcome things like poverty. But go ahead, B. I think you had a follow-up.
Yeah, I did have follow-up, and I'm asking you this from purely novice of trying to understand philosophical language and logic, and maybe you can help me out what works there. If one, because we hit this many times before, and I want to kind of get this on wax, get this on record. If one states, or anyone states, and I'm not saying Bennu said this specifically, by the way, I'm just putting this out generally because this is the general tone. If one states that the system in America as totality, we need to get away from the system, whether it be education, other things, or otherwise, but then also use the same benefits from said system to work. For example, we say we need to get away from, this American society, this education system, this way that they do stuff because there's no benefit for it. But yet we are on, for example, YouTube, which is a direct product of the education system in America. We all use whatever the various devices, cell phones that you may use, computers, internet systems, if I'm not mistaken, whatever provider that you use, to say that we need to divorce ourselves and it's been the detriment of the systems while also using said systems to get that message across. What does that work in a logical standpoint?
Yeah, so we're going to encounter what's called the fallacy of special pleading. And this is where you have applied all of these rules that you then turn around and exempt yourself from without any sort of just cause for doing so. What we have, for example, like, and to use multiple examples that he used.
Hey, real quick.
Yes,
Let me say something. Right. I apologize. I see. Hey, not a Black. Yeah, he did say Thomas Sowell. This the brother I was telling you about that hit me to him. So yeah, he did say Thomas Sowell.
Yeah. So and Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams, Jason Riley, Jason McWhorter, these are all Black educational thinkers who are pivotal in my own life, writing books and doing presentations and all sorts of things like that, which were pivotal in where I am right now, presently today. But yeah, to get back to what you're saying, yeah, we have fallacy.
My bad, Leandre.
Oh no.
Let me address it because I see Jeremiah Judah in here and he's still chirping. First of all, Jeremiah, you wouldn't have got kicked out if you would have acted like a man instead of a beast. But you can't act like a man because you're too immature in your 50s to act like a grown human being. You gotta keep running your mouth. And so if you want to debate, how about we do this? And I don't care where we do it, since my platform's so whack and I'm so whack and all of this kind of stuff. But you stay in my chat, you stay lurking with your. I don't know what's wrong with your voice. I don't know what's wrong with your jaw. I don't know what's wrong with your face. But you stay lurking on my channel. I don't look at your channel, Doc. I don't look at your channel. So but you stay lurking on mine. So I tell you what, if you want to debate, let's debate on what constitutes a real man. Is it me, who even with my mental illness that I talk publicly about, ain't never put my hands on a woman, or you who have? If you want to have a debate, let's have that debate. What make a man a real man? A man who get up here and talk religious rhetoric, or a man that just keep it a buck and I tell you, I'm flawed, but I'm doing my best to be better. Or a man who just revel, who revel in his buffoonery. If you want to have a debate, let's have that debate on Sonetta, in the back chat, wherever you want to have it. And I guarantee you, either way we go, either way it go, I'm gonna come out better at life than you is. Period. Y'all continue.
Yeah. So here's what I would say. So back to the special plea. By the way, I just want to say that JJ is constantly actually begging and complaining about not, being able to get up here and ramble as much as he wants. This is normal. Listen, you can watch his debate. He was a debate on Sonetta. He was accused of Sonetta being biased because he was just rambling. And Sonetta stopped. He was like, JJ, what the you talking about, bro? It's a whole thing. I have the clip saved on my phone, but that's just as an aside. But yeah, I would say
and you the flip flopper. You talking about doing the show on Sonetta channel, and a month ago you want to fight Sonetta.
First of all, I ain't saying about doing a Sonetta. I don't want to go on Sonetta channel for nothing.
No. I'm right, but I'm telling this clown.
Oh, I'm about
flip flopper because I'm a Christian. Which, if he a Bible believer, wouldn't he rather I be a Christian than in Kemet? But anyway, he's such a dummy. Let's talk about being a flip flopper. Last month he wanted to fight.
Hold on, BG. I just want to get my question answer real quick before y'all go in. Go
ahead. Y'all continue. Let me mute my mic because I roast this woman beater all night.
And could we not turn this question into a whole show in itself? Because
can you
answer this question for 15
minutes? Yeah. I just
okay. So anyway, special pleading. For example, positing or positioning Marcus Garvey as an uneducated brother means that the person who's making this claim about Marcus Garvey didn't educate himself. Marcus Garvey was an educated brother who was educated at a college in London. Okay, this is an educated brother. Okay, so if that's the case, then more than likely, right, then he would be someone who's a detriment to the community. But then I would say that even in a larger sense, right, if these movements, and this is no disrespect to Marcus Garvey or anyone else who tried something and it simply didn't work out, or even people I disagree with. This could be Barack Obama, could be anyone else. But if what's painted as these people were uneducated and the movement was so powerful, then why didn't it survive? And even if you say that it was taken down by these other people, well, by any other means, that would mean that those movements were not successful. So again, and that's no disrespect to Marcus Garvey, but I would also like to say too, like when talking about back to the special pleading fallacy, right, where you're just not being logically consistent. Marcus Garvey, one, admired the Ku Klux Klan, and they admired him and his mission for the sort of Back to Africa movement. And so if that was the means of dismissing someone's movement because somebody white or someone who supported white supremacy supported it, then you can't make a reference to Marcus Garvey. You can't do anything like that because it's guilty of the same thing. But this is what happens when you have an education. You know these sorts of things. So again, special pleading, Byron, I would say special pleading in the entirety of the argument through and through.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all, brothers, man. I'll be keep on tuning in.
Right on, B-Wash.
And to what Byron was saying, the actual talented 10th was it was actually a white northern philanthropist who created the term the talented 10th, which W.E.B. Du Bois adopted. But yeah, to that.
Okay.
Hey, Zion Warchild, you can jump in, man.
Yeah, man. I think the brother he actually answered the question that I was actually going to ask Leandre. So at this time, I have to rest, man. I'll say this was a great dialogue. I will ask this one question to Leandre, respectfully.
Yes,
do you feel that with your education, your educational background, which what I'm saying, I give you the utmost respect for.
Appreciate it.
Do you feel that you have any sense of a rift or separation with the like the uneducated or lesser educated people within our community, as far as like communicating with them and what have you?
Yeah, no, sir. So here's what I would say. In most people who
notice he said yeah first, but go ahead.
Objection.
My goodness. Anyway, see, here we go. But so here's the thing. Most people who don't know me and who don't know context of conversation, especially ones before we come on these sort of platforms, things like that, they're fully unaware of everything that's sort of built up to these conversations. I don't have a single solitary problem, period, point blank, full stop, with any person who does not have a formal education. I do have a problem with people who do not have a formal education, who then tout scholarship and things like that and pretend to have a formal education. I have a problem with those people. That's one category of people. I have a problem with people who do not have a formal education, who then tout scholarship, things like that, who have no earthly idea what scholarship actually is or requires. I have a problem with those people. I have a problem with people who lack a formal education, who tout scholarship and then turn around and then scoff at a scholar when that scholar presents things in a scholarly fashion. I have a problem with those people. I have a problem with people who lack a formal education and who disrespect education, which is one of the principal means of our freedom. So I have a problem with all those sorts of people. And so when I encounter any of those four groups of people, those sorts of people get a certain response. For every other person, we have nothing in the world to disagree with. And I would say I've encountered people on here who have presented themselves as learned in philosophy, logic, the law, and any number of things, and then they go and state things that are complete opposite of any of those things. Rabbi Lewis was, this is one of DMG's homeboys, one of his best friends. They talked all the time. He was always on here presenting.
Hey man, I'm gonna cut you off.
See, the brother's scared of me telling the truth. And so Rabbi Lewis was on here talking about
hate this dude, man.
He was on here talking about the organization DEF CON had just declared war or something like that.
Come on, man. I don't want to
hear. Brother, shut up. I'm in the middle of talking. Shut up. Shut up.
Let him go. We'll get to you. You can rock out.
You went on for a long time, bro.
You're not even talking about nothing that got nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Let him go, bro. Let him go. Let him go.
He's on track.
Yeah. So you had that person talking about an area he didn't know anything about. You had people on here talking about logic, not knowing what the heck they were talking about. And so all of these people, or people talking about scholars, and there was a dude talking about logical fallacies and saying he's saying what the philosophers and scholars say, who had no earthly idea what he's talking about. I have problems with all of these people, and I want those people to be silent. And so any of those people, if you're just going to be in there making claims, things like that, and it's anything that I know anything about, I am going to come challenge you, mostly because I want to call those people up to a higher level of being. And what I'm actually doing in those cases right there is actually showing the utmost respect for these people, because I'm holding them accountable for their claims. I believe that what's necessary is to put blame on our people when necessary and to praise them when necessary. And so if it's people like Byron, the most educated room, bar none, in 99% of these discussions, I'm going to tell him he's the most educated person in the room, and I'm going to praise him for that. If it's persons like Dr. Vince Bantu or whatever it is, right, I'm going to give these people up because I want to call people to that level of being. And when it's people who aren't on that level and they're saying things and pretending that they are, I'm going to put blame on those people, and I'm going to call them to a higher level of being. And this right here is how I show respect and love for my people. And I say, hey, listen, we can do better, and we ought not. So that's my entire mission here is to get those people who are doing that, the former things I was talking about. I want those people to shut up and stop talking. When you've earned it and earned the right to have an opinion, then open your mouth.
Hey, and that's why I say the Slim Reaper be reaping. So when he get done, I'll be like,
is there no one else? Is there no one else?
Go ahead, Lord Bennu. You wanted to respond?
I didn't want to respond to what he was saying. He was asking him a question, but he just started going into some other things. But go ahead. If the brother got a question for me, go ahead. But other than that, we can move on.
No, I think I'm satisfied with what I've heard, you know what I'm saying, from both of the brothers, you know what I'm saying. I do have one more question. It's on the tip of my tongue. Nah, you know what? I'll rest.
If you remember, just type it in the chat, bro. We'll answer.
Hey, Zion, make sure you hit me up. You're welcome anytime. I apologize.
Hey, no, I apologize. JJ can't come on. How come he can come on?
I know, JJ, your man. So I apologize for that, man. I apologize to the people who watching. I just got turned up. JJ got under my skin, but I trip sometimes, but I'm trying to get better. But yeah, that time it got to me. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, man, just hit me up, man. Whenever you're ready to come back on, we can do something. Trust and believe the gospel. Trust and believe the gospel. I ain't messing with you, man. I seen you on here caking for Black Jesus, man. I don't know. Nah, man. You went against Neo Love. You went against Neo Love. I don't know if I trust you no more.
I got a question, DMG, for you.
Go ahead.
Why you do JJ like that, man?
What I do?
Never mind. We'll talk about this later because you ain't gonna be honest.
I will be honest. What I do?
I would like to say this to what he answered, like saying that his main reason by doing this is showing respect for his people. I think he just really basically is doing this to try to show that he has one up, or that he's uppity, and to basically like talk down on other people. Because before this brother even knew me, he had things to say that were disrespectful. He continuously shows how the educated Black people are our biggest problem by the way he conducts himself amongst other people who that he claims are uneducated and of lower education. So just by the way he acts and conducts himself and handles himself is a prime example of one of the reasons why educated Black people are our biggest problem.
Can I interrupt real quick before you answer that, Leandre?
Yes, sir.
I'll say this, Bennu, as someone who knows Leandre, definitely has a specific way and a methodology to how he handles it. But I have seen him interact with people who are not educated, who do not have formal education. And what he said is true. Like the thing that irks him, it irks me too, but it really, really irks Leandre when those who have not earned going through the rigmarole of formal education and the trials and the failures of formal education. And then when people get on Al Gore's internet and say things and post things and say the scholars, unequivocally agree with this, or there's no, or make claims that are laughable in the world of academia, saying things like, Jesus Christ didn't exist as a historical figure, right? Like when you do stuff and you stand there to say the scholars agree with me, like that's when, he may get irritated. But I've seen Leandre, and Leandre said this too. One of the most, I would say, the most educated brother who doesn't have a formal education, but I dare anybody to challenge him, is our brother BK Apology. If you have a claim, I promise you, within 30 seconds, if there's not a slide with like 30 different sources, like 4 books on the topic, I'll be surprised. Like, I don't know how he reads as much as he does and is able to cipher through. And he's saying he does not have any formal education. DMG himself does not have any formal education, right?
So let me ask you this. So you basically, your claim is that a formal education is what's going to free Black people from their liberation.
No, I'm not. That's not my claim.
These universities and these colleges or these schools and getting a higher level of education, quote unquote, and a diploma signed by a master is going to free Black people from their oppression.
I would. That is not. Well, this is for me. That's not my claim. My claim is that we need all. My claim is that we need all of the above, because we need people who are formally educated. We need people who are not formally educated. We need all of us locked in step. Why? Because we did not get in this situation by one means only. If we were only attacked by just the those in the ivory tower as the reasons as to why we're in this situation, I would agree. But we've been attacked from a political standpoint, a social standpoint, economic standpoint, educational standpoint, non-formal educational standpoint. All of that is true. So, formal education is a key. Hold on, bro. I'm just finishing up. Formal education is a key part, but not the only part. Because I would agree with people like Booker T. Washington, for example, who's the founder of. We need our working class well too, because if you look at, for example, I'll give you and I gave you the example before in our one-on-one, and I'll give this in a broader example. If we talk about HBCUs, majority of the HBCUs were built up by black people within their communities. Who were the plumbers? Who were the masons? Who were the roofers? Who laid the foundations, the bricks, and all these certain things? It certainly was not the oppressors. It was the people in that community, and in turn, those universities then educated either that class or the children of that working class to allow them to benefit who? Back our community. This is what the purpose of many HBCUs
we are
were.
in the position that we're in right now, right?
After him, I get to go.
We are in the position that we're in right now from educated people, right? Right or wrong?
Oh man,
are these educated people that are putting these systems in place that are keeping us where we at, or are these just white people from out of the slums and the ghettos?
All of the above, as I stated. So,
It's not
Leandre,
all
you
of
can
the
go.
above. That's cat right there. It's not no. It's not no. I'm not done. It's not no uneducated trailer park white people that are creating these institutions that are keeping us enslaved, that are creating this school to prison pipeline, that are creating these what did you say, economic issues, political issues. All of these issues that we facing are coming from educated people, not people that are uneducated. So if we have an educated class that isn't doing anything to defend us, for how long niggas been getting educated? How long niggas been going to these schools, creating
Roughly 100 years.
These HBCUs? Why are we still in the same predicament? I just read you a whole report. You told me that I didn't have any facts to state when I went to the Kerner report that said they did a report in 1968 that said the main reason black people were in the state that they were in and having civil unrest was because the lack of resources to education, economics, and all of those other things that I stated. When they did another report 50 years later, they concluded that we were more educated, better educated. We had more diplomas. We had more people graduating from high school. People were making more money, which are things that you said are better for us as a society. But we were going to prison more. We didn't have more. We were less in resources than we were then. You feel me? So if we're judging by the fruit that it bears, educated black people aren't doing anything.
I don't think you want to do that.
Let me finish. Educated black people aren't doing anything to defend us from the people that are attacking. You got these degrees. You can say, "Oh, you got to be articulate with this bitch, Jay." Across this information, you can say all of that you want, but at the end of the day, niggas is still getting their necks stepped on and crushed by other societies. Right now, you got China over in Africa.
All right, bro, you filibustering. Go ahead, Leandre. You filibustering now, bro. You filibustering now, bro. You asked me a question, I answered you. You asked me a question, I answered you.
Hold on, man, because I let y'all
brother.
talk.
No, you asked, brother. You asked me a question.
Y'all was
and I answered
real long-winded with what y'all was saying, and now that I'm
we're gonna put Leandre after this.
And that's what.
But I didn't ask you a question. I didn't ask you a question back. But I'm saying I didn't ask you a question. I didn't ask you a question. Like you asked me, you asked me a question. I gave you an answer, and then you didn't like it, and then you went your diatribe.
I don't like people in the kitchen when I'm cooking, so excuse yourself.
Cause you cooking ham sandwiches. I'm trying to cook gourmet meals. It's a difference.
I don't eat meat like you, chicken bone sucker. You feel me? Like you can do talk whatever you want. So look,
let them finish it out. Let them finish it out. Then we're gonna get to the
At the end of the day, we're in a worse position than we were more than 50 years
ago. Keep it
ago.
Northeast. Keep it up there.
And we have more education as a people. So what is that saying about education? Is it helping just the people who are educated? Is it helping the people that aren't educated? No. We got people that are attacking us who are educated and who are helping their people, and maybe they're not. But we're not in the same situation as them, but we want to go and get an equal education as them. But our education needs to be greater than what they're getting because we need to compete for resources on this planet, not go along and integrate into the system that's crushing us. You want to be one of them so bad on everybody else and say, oh, these people don't have an education, so they're not scholars and they can't talk about this and talk about that. You don't know what I went through to attain the information that I attained, to acquire all of the information and all of the things that I know. You feel me? So to discredit me and to discredit anybody who didn't go to a college or an institution is buffoonery. You feel what I'm saying? So you could go ahead and
it's a public library card. I mean, it's not that difficult.
Look up the Kerner report and read that and answer the question on why we still getting incarcerated in mass numbers, why we don't have no defense against it, and why educated blacks think that just getting to the bag is the end all be all, and they forget about their people and just let shit go on.
DMG, if you're so liberal with those things, it's so
look.
So,
man, that man just dropped a bomb. I don't know what y'all talking about.
Listen,
go ahead, Landry.
Look at the chat. Look at the chat. Look at the chat.
Listen, man.
Look. That boy on fire. Hey, no, man, don't be hating on that boy energy, man. Don't be hating.
She ain't say nothing yet. They just laughing. Go ahead. What's up?
Okay.
So, well, I was going to Leandro. Go ahead, Rodri. I'm sorry. I interrupted your thing. I was just trying to cap for you. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Listen, man. There's a formal education is necessary, especially when you need something like critical thinking skills. Saying that two things happen over the same span of time. By the way, there is no report that's going to say that black folks have less than what they did at any point in time in the past.
It's called the Kerner report.
Can you please stop interrupting?
What? Let him go. Let him go. Let him go, bro. Let him go.
Don't let him. He's not gonna lie. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is a report. I
let him go. If he say something that's not true.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. No. I tell you what. Here's what we're gonna do.
Pardon me.
Here's what we're gonna do. Bennu, is household size the same for Black Americans as it was 50 years ago?
No.
Okay. Were households larger or smaller than they are now?
You tell me, bro.
Do you know the answer to the question? Yes or no? Okay. Household sizes have shrunk for Black Americans. And even still, household income has grown, even though household size has shrunk. You're not going to find any report, period, point blank, full stop, that says that materially Black folks are better off today than they were in the past. You're just not going to find it because it's just not true. Now, the progress was quicker at an earlier time period, but there's all sorts of things that Bennu is missing from the equation, principally because he's uneducated on the matter. Now, you had Black schools 67 years ago that had higher graduation rates than whites.
Oh, hold on, Leandre, real quick.
Yes, sir.
Brother Bennu, when they interrupted you, didn't I tell them to let you go?
Yeah.
Byron, did I mute you when Brother Bennu was going?
Begrudgingly, yes, you did. Begrudgingly.
Okay, so when we got people in the chat saying stuff like Bennu can't interrupt them or inferring that I'm doing the brother a disservice, should the viewers take that seriously or is they capping? I'm just trying to get your opinion.
It's more than one person in the chat saying it. You feel me? And like they are being long-winded, you know what I'm saying? And like when I try to interject to say something before I forget my point, like they cutting me off, but I'm not complaining, and I'm just here for the, you know what I'm saying, the dialogue. You are letting me speak, and I think you're being fair. You feel me? So it's cool.
So anyway, so back to what I was saying. Household sizes have shrunk. Household income is still going up. That's a fact. Black folks materially are better off on the aggregate than they were prior to, especially when you get back into the 19th century. But there's a reason why Up From Slavery was written, because Black progress has continued since then in pretty much every measurable way. So these are facts. There's no report on the planet. There's no report on the planet that's going to say otherwise. Not anyone that's written by anyone with an education. Now, you might have Negroes who sat at home in their grandpa's chair in a room with the wood paneling, around and decided to type some out, but there won't be any facts to support that. Blacks have grown in pretty much every way. Now, one of the ways that we have gone down is going to be we have higher divorce rates. We have higher percentages of blacks born out of wedlock. But even in that sense, you have black fathers being more present than they were ever before, or being more present than every other racial category, I should say. So this idea that this is somehow to do with educated black people, it's just ridiculous. It's a single cause fallacy in logic. But it's also not a causal, there's no causal relationship whatsoever. You simply have two things that are occurring. You have more blacks being educated, but check it, watch this. Bennu's not going to be able to show this, that the blacks who are being educated are the ones being incarcerated. You know why? Because the blacks who are being educated actually are far less likely to go to jail. It's actually the blacks who, during the same time period, right? Who you have blacks who are not going to school as regularly as they were and as they were pushed into before. And those people are the people ending up in the school to prison line.
What? What did you say?
Why are you interrupting?
I'm asking you to repeat yourself.
Everybody heard me.
No, they didn't.
Okay. Everybody with a brain that works heard me.
No, they didn't.
I think that's true. Anyhow.
Are you going to repeat yourself or no?
I am not. I'm going to continue rolling.
All right, continue lying then.
Okay. You won't be able to give anything that says otherwise.
Continue lying, bro. Go ahead.
You will have zero sources that say otherwise.
You still didn't answer my question. What are educated black people doing to stop the oppression that's been going on since slavery, before slavery? What have they accomplished?
Okay.
When I asked you that before, you said Martin Luther King. Come on, bro.
Okay, so first and foremost, when you cited Marcus Garvey, a graduate of Birkbeck College in London, according to you,
the great Marcus Garvey to you.
That's fine, but you said Marcus Garvey was uneducated, and Marcus Garvey had a formal education in London, of all places, the original people who enslaved our ancestors. Those people, because America started 1776. So the original people, Marcus Garvey went over there, and then he got educated in London.
He didn't go over there.
Yes, he did.
What?
Yes, he did. Marcus Garvey 100% went there. And maybe what's needed here, or maybe what's on display here, is your lack of education of even the people that you're referencing. Most people that you reference are educated.
He went there from where?
I'm sorry?
From where?
From America. What are you talking about?
Okay, go ahead.
So anyhow, as I was saying, you have people like black educators. You have black educators who increase the likelihood that the black students are going to graduate high school because they have black educators. And these are educated people who went to college, got a degree, typically a teaching credential, and it increased the likelihood that their students, because they presented a black teacher to the students before the 4th grade, they gave them a higher likelihood of graduating high school and college as a result of having a black teacher. So these are the things that they're doing. These educated black folks would be people who are elected to, like, I don't know, Congress. You know, they're in the House of Representatives or in the Senate. They're doing things there. This is the slew of black folks who take care of their families, who have got an education. I don't know, black doctors. These would be black mechanics. These would be people like those who are in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The auto mechanics, the doctors, the dentist offices and things like that were there, who pay taxes, the taxes which go towards paying for the schools. They got the technical programs and those sorts of things. These are the sorts of things that are done in American society.
What has any of that done to stop the oppression of black?
So we'd have to assume something that I don't assume. I don't assume that black folks right now. This is me personally. I don't assume that black folks right now are being oppressed. I think,
that's the problem. That's where we have in the.
Why are you interrupting and cutting me off?
That's where we have in the disconnect.
Listen. Yes, we listen.
I just made it. I just had a eureka moment. Excuse me. I was excited because I'm figuring it out. What you really stand in.
Cool, but be that as it may, educated black folks like Thurgood Marshall, who went and argued before the Supreme Court on multiple occasions and won most of those cases. That educated black man right there worked to systematically dismantle the Jim Crow system.
And replace it with what? What did he replace it with?
What do you mean? What did he replace it with?
If he dismantled it, what did he put in place for black people to live in instead of that?
No. It It doesn't have to be replaced with anything. But in either case,
no, it does have to be replaced with something, because if he did something to stop our oppression, if he did something to stop our, because I'm calling your cat, because I'm calling your cat, I'm doubling down. If he did something to stop our oppression,
let me answer your question.
If he stopped Jim Crow, what did he replace it with? Or did he let the white educated people in position put another form of oppression in place? Why didn't he say
it is your argument that it's another form of oppression? Listen, that is completely and utterly your argument. But you asked what they've done. And now I'm just going through and listing multiple things. Dr. Martin Luther King was an educated PhD. That's why he's Dr. Martin Luther King. Okay. Even the people that you've cited, these are educated persons who have apparently contributed to your enlightenment.
Did I say that? Did not say that. Did not say that it wasn't every, because you're not understanding or comprehending that you're supposed to be educated. Why do I have to educate you? Why do I have to educate you?
Oh, you're not. Listen, you couldn't.
I told you it wasn't all educated black people. I told you that
you wanted to know what educated black people have done.
Listen.
Numerous examples.
Let's do one more question to the other party. Get the answer, and then if you want to ask one more question, and then we're gonna get out of it.
I do, but it's a qualifying question for Bennu. I just want to know because something came up when you were speaking, and when you say educated class, Bennu, are you speaking about like anything after like grade school education? Or are you only speaking like what are you speaking about specifically? Because it seems like, when you say education, you can go a variety of ways. So, you can go as far as like, doctorate and PhD degrees. You can go as far as trade school education. Like when you say education, what do you mean exactly? So I'm
talking about the highest educated in each field. Anybody that's in the field that's the highest educated that look like me.
So for example, like if I say HVAC, like if I get an HVAC certification, is that kind of education for you?
What is HVAC helping us with our liberation?
No, I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Like if I get
when I'm talking about liberation and helping free us from oppression, why are you talking about HVAC?
Do you have an air conditioning heating system in your place right now?
I do. Are those people in HVAC setting up black organizations that are specifically for us to profit off of that?
If you ask me, are they
getting those HVAC certifications and going to work for white institutions?
Actually, many HVAC certifiers. I can only speak for myself and the region of my end. That HVAC and electricians have their own. Wait,
I'm talking about in the majority. We're talking about black people as a nation, not you.
So are you asking me for clarity? Are you asking me, are people in the trade industry, are black as a whole, are they becoming their own? Let me ask you: are they becoming their own business owners to service their community?
That's not what I'm asking you. I'm asking you:
so
are they setting up institutions where black people specifically can profit and prosper in those fields, so that we can run industries? What industries do we control? What do we control? We're consumers. Everything that we do, when we have Black History Month this February coming.
So wait, is that your question? Is that your question?
Wait, hold on, wait, Byron. They're gonna go down a list of thousands of inventions that black people have done, from the super soaker to the filament in the light bulb to everything. But we control none of it. And that's my point. That educated black people, those educated black people that are the top of their field, at the top of their field, they don't create a system where we're not dependent on another people to survive.
So again, when you say education, because this is why I'm lost at.
What I'm saying,
because no, I'm not, because we're not talking. No, we got to land with you yet, because you're preaching. You're preaching at me. I'm just want to ask the question.
Hold on, let me finish preaching.
No, you didn't, because you asked me a question. DMG, did you not ask me a question?
Just let me.
You asked me a question. You asked me a question. I'm not trying to answer you, and I'm trying to get clarity.
I'm trying to finish it. I'm trying to finish it. What are they doing to create a system for us to profit and control industry, instead of us integrating in and being the first black person to work for T-Mobile, or the first black person to be on the news at this thing? What are they doing besides that? We don't control any industries.
Okay, so that's a question. Okay, good. I'll keep that. But I still want to ask my original question. When you say education, because that's what I'm trying to get clarity on. If I'm in the HVAC, if I'm in the electrician, and I get my highest certification, and been trained in the electrical industry, do you count that as educated black folk in your paradigm? Because they don't give out doctorate degrees for electrical engineer. For the electrical engineer, yeah, you can. But I'm saying electricians. Like, is that your idea of educated black folk?
Are they
A
educated?
certification?
Are they educated?
Yes.
Okay, so they are educated black people, right?
Okay. So your range isn't necessarily just a college degree. It can be any education. Period. After say
Any
12th
any
grade. After 12th
anybody
grade.
who is educated in a field and is the
Okay.
top of their field, or they get the highest level of education in that field, and they're not creating a system for us as a nation to control industry, is the biggest problem.
So, for example, myself, I don't have the highest education in my field. I don't. I'm educated, but I don't have the
And
highest
what are
education.
you educated in?
I'm educated in business, economics, and entrepreneurship.
And
Well, I'm just using that as an example.
created a system for us to control industry
But I'm
and for
saying,
us to free ourselves from oppression of
but I don't meet your qualifications because I don't have the highest. You
have,
said the highest.
have you personally?
I don't meet the qualification. Like, I can't answer the question
Well, if
because I
you
don't
don't
meet the
meet the
qualifications.
qualifications, then you don't meet the qualifications to be up here asking
Okay,
questions and
so
consider yourself
so that
educated.
that's what I'm asking. Okay, then that's what I'm trying to get your range. I'm just
Bro,
all I'm
you're not
trying to get
educated, then what are
understanding.
you talking about? If
I'm
you
saying,
you don't consider yourself
so
educated,
based on your range, it is only those people who have the highest level of education in each specific field. So if you're an HVAC,
the
if you
people,
got to be the top HVAC technician, period, to even be in the discussion for what you're saying.
do you have to be the top HVAC technician to get the highest degree that HVAC has to offer?
No.
Do you have to be the
That's not my
best? Do you have
qualification.
to be the best at HVAC to get the highest degree that HVAC has to offer? I'll answer it for you. No, you don't.
So HVAC isn't in your
You can
thing.
graduate at the bottom of your class and still get the same diploma as everybody else.
What the
So
hell?
so consequently, if I get a PhD, do I have to be the top PhD in order to be qualified, or can I be like the lowest PhD in my class?
Yo, bro.
I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Right
asking.
now, bro. You trolling right now.
I'm not.
Trolling right now.
I'm trying to
Because
understand. What do you
you
mean
as
by
educated
education?
as you putting on, like my man just said, you the most educated person in any room that you step in, you would know what I'm talking about. But right now you just trolling and you trying to drag out information so that you can
I'm not trolling. I'm asking you because you
bro,
have a
like you
specific
being
definition
educated,
of
you being
education.
ignorant, bro. And I know you way smarter than this, and you trolling right now, bro.
I'm asking you.
I'm hoping that you way smarter than this, bro.
So you so
Real.
so you don't have an answer. So you don't have
I
an answer to
answered
my
it
question.
5 times, bro. Why you being come on, bro. Come on, use your
I'm
brain, man.
you actually didn't.
Use your
So
brain,
if
bro.
so in the trade industry, I'm gonna say brickwork, roofing, electricians, HVAC. If you become the top person in that field,
Bro,
right,
didn't I just say people who are vital for our liberation?
and the top person in that field, you said that, right? That's like this is recorded. Like and DMG, Leandro, am I tripping? Did he not say the
He
top
said the
person
top person in the field.
in
Whoever got
those
the
fields?
highest degree in the field. Yeah.
So if you're an HVAC professional, you're saying that only the person who has the highest, graded the highest on the certification.
Stop talking about these professions that don't have nothing to do with what I'm talking about, bro.
You gotta be educated to be an HVAC
Yeah,
tech.
you brought up HVAC because you trolling. You being a
No, I'm
troll.
not trolling. I'm asking for education.
Troll
Like
is
for example, let me ask you, DMG, are you not in the trade industry yourself?
being a troll.
Have you in your family, good brother? I know you've talked about it before publicly, so I'm just kind of asking you, like, is your family not in the trade industry yourself?
Correct.
Correct. And so, does it not take education? You have to study to take a test. If you want to be whatever, HVAC, electrician, roof worker, mason worker, do you not have to be educated and take a test to get the certification in order to do that job?
100%.
Okay. So I'm not out around been doing asking what are your qualifications when you say education? Are you only talking about those who go to a college degree, bachelor's? Are you talking about those who even get trade certifications too? Because those are educated people as well too. That's why I was trying to get what is your range of when you say educated black folk, and you stated that the top. So that's why I asked. Okay,
That was one thing that I said amongst at least 10.
It was
amongst many.
You're sticking with that. That's what I mean by you're being a troll. I
It's still
said,
something you said.
so what? But that's what you stick
It
to.
doesn't matter if you focus on one thing.
You also call him
you
the
still
smartest
said it.
place, the smartest room. Am I
I
sticking
didn't
to
say
that?
nothing about no smartest room.
Yes, you did. You called
I said
Byron. You
smartest
said
room.
Byron's the smartest room, and everywhere he goes.
Byron, I ain't never
No.
said Byron was the smartest room.
Man, it's recorded, and we could go back and listen to it.
Listen, nobody's gonna tell you I said Byron was the
Yeah,
smartest
that's
room.
exactly what they're doing. They're trying to nitpick because they can't answer the question that I'm asking. What have educated black people?
Byron, have I ever called you the
I don't care if
smartest
it's
room?
elementary education.
No.
I don't care if it's elementary education or preschool education to a college degree.
Which I'm wondering
What have
if you
any
have.
of them? What have any of them done to free us from the oppression that we
Whoa.
are facing?
Listen.
Time out. Hold on. Time out. So now this is brought him up. So I'm lost. I'm lost now, DMG. Like I might get out. I'm lost because he said now it's not even about college education anymore. It's about from elementary to middle to junior high. Like at that point,
You won't hear trolling, man. And
at that point, nobody here.
We trying to have a real conversation here, and I'm tired of talking to him, man. He being a troll and he not being genuine with what we have going on.
I didn't say it.
Conversation about
Hey, do me a favor.
Do me a favor.
This what I want to do. This what I want to do. Check it out. So the brother asked the question, and he been asking it repeatedly throughout the show.
Don't start.
No.
Let him go.
And they won't answer it.
Real quick, because it's being inferred that y'all ducking this question. So can y'all answer the brother question once and for all, concisely, in a way that everybody can understand?
DMG, I want to answer the question. I just need to know what the brother's qualifications are for those who are educated. That's all.
Education, and answer it from there.
My qualifications is anybody who has taken the time in after a post K through 12 education, formal education. Oh, I mean not formal, but that education. Anybody from K through 12 that have taken the time to get educated.
Whoever you.
I'm answering your question. Hold on now. DMG, now I'm answering it.
Let him answer the question, bro.
All right, because
I'm saying anybody from my understanding, education is anybody base education, anybody from a K through 12 education, and then anybody who pursues any type of education after that, whether it be formal in a collegiate setting, it can be a community college or junior college setting, and it can be a different certifications in trade school settings. Those people are educated and have to take times in whatever fields they want to go in to get whatever certification, degree, acknowledgement, award, whatever the case is. That is the broadest understanding of education. Anything after a K through 12 diploma or a GED equivalent, one either or. But that's my understanding. So,
okay, DMG, what's the question we're ducking from Doggy Ball?
What has any of that done? You say the question, brother. I don't want to botch it. Lord Bennu.
What happened? What's up?
When you asked them that question, because I don't want to say it wrong. What has is the question? What has any of
has
that?
any educated black person, quote unquote, done to help us to control an industry, free us from liberation, or lead us into a revolution, a successful one?
Yeah, so I'm going to say that it's a stupid question, mostly because there is no
You're
need
stupid, but go ahead.
Your mama's stupid, nigga.
Look.
Come on,
why you interrupting while I'm talking?
No, look, that's what uneducated people do. You feel me?
I bet for this kid. Why do you keep interrupting while I'm talking?
Paper behind you.
Why do you keep interrupting while I'm talking?
That's what I do to chumps.
Okay.
Like what I'm doing to you right now, I got you all in your feelings and you soft.
All right.
Check it out. The same thing they used to do to you in the lunchroom.
You give up the cheek.
Back of your head and mush you out of line.
You give up the cheek.
All right.
Hey, Big Dog. Hey, listen. I was just watching Fleece Johnson. He was talking about this dude, man. They was in the same jails like him and Fleece Johnson. I don't know. But listen, let me say something. No. Listen, I was in the middle of answering the question.
Are you gonna answer the question?
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
was actually doing so before Butthole interrupted me.
Go ahead.
So as I was saying, this is what you call a loaded question in logic. Okay, and so what he's doing is he brings in these concepts which he hasn't shown and demonstrated, and he's asking you to answer those questions. Well, what have you done, to stop beating your wife? It's like, what? You haven't shown that. See, he made a face. You know why? He's uneducated. He has no idea what I'm even talking about. That's called an argument from analogy. I just gave an analogy to his argument. But because he's uneducated in anything outside of prison burpees, he has no idea what I'm talking about. So the brother is asking loaded questions. He asked the earlier question, which was answered. He wanted to know what educated Black people have done. And I gave multiple examples. I gave an example like of Thurgood Marshall, Dr. Martin Luther King. I've used his example of Marcus Garvey, who is, despite what this uneducated Negro said, an educated man who was educated in London by the specific people in a specific place of the people who first enslaved our ancestors. Marcus Garvey clearly didn't see a problem with it because he went to Birkbeck College in London.
Arabs enslaved us.
Hey, look, here you go. He's talking again. This is why.
I was just educating you.
This is why the brother, listen, brother, why don't you sit on yard check or something? Sit on yard check while I finish. Just sit in yard check till I'm done. Okay? Now, as I was saying, educated Black folks have done a whole heck of a lot for Black people. Now, but also what we haven't gotten, and this is one of the places where I wanted to go, but he was taking up my time, not answering my question, is this idea that you owe this level of loyalty, whatever this level of loyalty is. I would like this to be demonstrated. So my question to him would be, is what amount of loyalty do I owe? Is it the same one I owe to my family, my immediate family, let's say wife and kids? Do I owe the same sort of a level of service to the people in my community, the people who, I don't know, that just because they're the same race? What's this level of service that I owe to the people in my community? What's the level? Quantify it. Is it the same as that I do for my immediate family? What is it?
You done?
Yep.
Okay. Well, if you love, if you look, you asking me that, right? Or you?
I don't know if that.
I was asking Lord Bennu.
Okay. Yeah. He was asking me. Well, that depends on how you view your people. If you don't feel that we're all a nation and we need each other and that we need to make some sacrifices, then you wouldn't give them any of your time or any of your resources or any of your effort to help them free themselves from where they are. But if you believe that we were all one and that there were a certain part of your family that needed your help, you would donate as much as you could, as much as your resources as you could, to helping them free themselves from oppression, which you don't think that they're being oppressed. When do you, let me ask you a question now. When did the oppression stop?
Okay, so you didn't actually answer my question, brother. Is it the same
how
level
much?
of service?
I said how much? I said it depends.
Is it the same?
Here's my question. How do you look at the situation?
Here's my question. Is it the same level of service that I owe to my immediate family, like my wife and my kids? That's the question.
No.
Okay. Is it more or less? What is it?
You don't owe nobody as much loyalty as you owe your wife and your children.
Okay, cool. So then how much, like let's say my resources. I don't have infinite amount of resources, and I don't think anyone does. How much of my resources are owed then to the larger community of people who look like me, who have the same phenotypical expressions and come from the same land? How much do I owe those people, percentage-wise?
More than the 0% that you given.
Okay, no. So I haven't given 0%, nor have I argued for that. I'm asking, what is the percentage?
No, I'm telling you.
What's the percentage?
More than 0.
What is it? Is it
as
one?
much as you can. It differs from person to person. One person might not be able to give as much as another person is able to give. One person might not be able to give money. One person might not be able to give his resources or whatever. But if we all come together as a collective and we're talking about the educated class here, we're talking about the educated, you're supposed to be using your degree and your education and what you're educated for. What are you talking about? If you're educated, you're supposed to be using your education and the things that you've learned in these higher educations schools that you went to help your people. So all of that education should be donated to your community. Let me give a shout out to DJ Dr. Rosie for she's a doctor in business, right? She came and I started a organization that was hosting open mics and yoga classes, martial arts in my community back in Jersey. And
can you please answer my question?
She came with her college degree and said, I'm going to help you get this out for the community because I went to these schools and I learned this. So this is what I'm going to do to give back.
Can I please answer?
Oh my God.
Can I get an answer to my question, please?
I answered it.
Here's my question.
Listen.
No, DMG, don't do it. Don't do it.
Oh, man.
I have 100% of my resources. It's a finite amount of my resources.
What you gonna say? What you saying, Byron? Because DJ Dr. Rosie is educated?
No. I'm gonna go ahead, Leandre. Okay, yeah.
Brother,
I'm going quiet.
My resource says 100%. How much of which what of that is owed without qualification to my community? What percentage?
What, your education?
No. Of my resources, of my education, my time, whatever it is. What percentage of that is owed to my community?
100% of your education.
Okay, so how much of that then is preserved for my family?
The same 100%. Ain't they part of your community?
What except for the fact that there's only 100% to give out. So if I'm giving out and if I give,
you're giving it to a community.
Right.
How much of you are you giving to your community? Your education. 100%.
How do I give 100%
to us?
Now listen. This is basic math. This is a basic math question. How do I give 100% to everyone?
I didn't say everyone. I said one
this
community.
Is a community.
100%
everyone in my community.
You're separating people like educated black people do. You're separating yourself and individualizing everything. No, sir, we're a whole. We're a whole. So if you're giving not your resources, not the money that you made to go work for whoever you work for, and none of that. I'm talking about the things that you've learned.
Okay, hold on, real quick.
I'm answering your question.
We're not.
Let me try it. Let me try this. So okay, brother. And I got this. I remember this because it was kind of embarrassing the way he taught it to us. So when he's saying 100%, and if he has to give a percentage of that 100% to his family and a percentage to the community, it's only so much of that 100%. You can't give 100% to both. So what he's asking specifically is it 50% to each? Is it 25% to the family and 75% to the community? What's the percentage that you're saying?
Like Jerome said, that's a nonsensical question.
Oh my goodness. There's 23 hours, 56 minutes in every day, correct?
Listen.
There's 20 hours, 56 minutes in every day?
Listen.
No, just please yes or no.
Let me answer the question, bro. Go ahead.
No, listen.
Go ahead, talk. I'm gonna mute my mic. And let you go.
No, let him finish his answer, Leandre, and then you respond. And if Byron got something to add, because we got to get out of here.
DMG, you're not answering my question though.
I am answering your question.
There's 23 hours, 56 minutes in every single day. I can only do so much in every single day. How much of that time, because it all is going to come down to time, how much of the time is owed to my community versus to my immediate family? That's the question.
You didn't ask me time the last time. And I said education. How much of your education do you owe to the black community? And I said all of it.
Is my no, genius. This is a math question. Is my education going to be okay? Watch this. Is my education unlimited? Is that like irrespective of my time on earth? Or what? Like after I'm dead, is my education still in my community?
If I go out and I'm teaching my people something, my son and my wife is going to be right there with me,
sir.
And they are getting the same information that I'm giving to the community. So if I'm talking about the community as a whole, when I'm talking about education,
sir,
I'm not saying how much of your time do you have to dedicate to the community, and then how much of your time do you have to dedicate to the people. No, to your family. No, that's not what I'm saying. You're making that, and that's what I said is nonsensical because that's not what I'm saying.
Please, you're wasting time. They keep saying we got to get out of here. You just keep repeating the same thing. No,
time don't exist, man.
I could be at home. Now, watch this. Here's something. Here's a fact. If I'm at home reading to my kids, if I'm at home reading to my own children, that guarantees my kids a better outcome. should I take that time instead of reading to my kids at home in their own personal setting or having dinner personally with my own kids? Should I take that time then instead do some community work or eat with the whole community? What are you saying I should do?
No.
Okay,
That's your
which
time
of
with your
those
family.
two? No, I'm sorry.
That's your time with your family, fool.
Okay, so then, so if I'm at home, should I be at home teaching my kids music, math, language, mathematics, that kind of stuff, or should I be in a community doing so?
Teach your kids whatever you want when you home.
I'm not talking about when I'm home.
Who from the community you inviting over to your house? What are you talking about?
Okay, I'm trying to put this into English, into a language that I think you can understand. And what I'm asking is this: there's a finite amount of time. The education that I'm going to express, that I'm going to share with people, is going to be done in time. That means
a book then, nigga.
Stop talking. Stop talking. Because you're not comprehending the question. And this is probably why you couldn't make it in education. But there's 23 hours and 56 minutes every day. When I go to try to give education to my community, that is going to take time out of my day. If I'm taking time out of my day to do so, should I not do the sort of things with my kids? Teach them how to ride a bike, how to read, how to do things like that? Or should I say, hey, I can't teach you this unless, kids, you're at the community center. If my kid scrapes a knee, is in a hospital, anything like that, sick, dying, do I take that time from the kids at these places, or do I take this over to the community center? Which of these do I do? As 20 hours, 56 minutes a day, I have to give this education in time. Where do I spend my time?
Maybe you should have not took classes in law and took classes in time management. Don't ask me how you supposed to manage your time. Manage it how you feel like you should, bro. I'm not telling you how to manage your time and how to distribute your time to the community and your family. Do it as you please. But obviously, the Black educated community is dedicating 1,000% of their time to themselves and their family, and not the liberation of the people, which is my main focus. What have the educated Black people done to free us from oppression and get us out of the situation that we're in so that we can own and control industries?
DMG, when we get to our closings?
Yeah, you running.
Go ahead. Hey, be wise. Close out, man.
DMG, we need closing statements. We need closing statements. 2 minutes at least.
I got you.
Slim creeper, man.
I got you. All right, Leandre. Go ahead. Slim Reaper. And listen, everybody go over to the community page. I got a poll up. Who won this debate? The Slim Reaper or Lord Bennu? Y'all go over there. Please vote. It helps the algorithm. Yeah, I like saying that. Also, I got a membership coming. It's going to be $5 a month. I hope y'all jump in there. Shout out once again to Sarnetta, because I know I probably wouldn't have this many people over here if it wasn't for that shout out the other night. Appreciate that, big bro. Leandre, close out this debate, my brother.
Yeah. So,
and I say debate loosely. I don't want to offend you. I say debate loosely because I don't want you to, you know.
Yes. So here's the thing.
Can you put a time limit on him, yo? Because he's gonna talk for like 45 minutes, bro.
2 minutes. Y'all both got 2 minutes.
Thank you, because this nigga.
Your mama.
Come on, man. Come on.
Ain't no come on. Like,
this is educated Black people for you.
Yeah. This uneducated nigga from the hood.
All right, come on. Let's let them close out, man. 2 minutes.
Now listen, beware of the uneducated niggas who come on here and tell you that uneducated niggas are somehow the beacon of hope, or that educated niggas are the people who are stifling your progress. Educated Negroes were the principal agents in modern society, the last, 100 years or so, who are responsible for our forward progress up until now. Now, this could be folks, Booker T. Washington. It would even be people like he cited, like Dr. Amos Wilson. This would be people like W.B. Du Bois. This would be people like Thurgood Marshall, Dr. Martin Luther King. These are the people who are responsible for our forward progress, who pointed us in the proper and correct direction. Now, we got absolutely nothing whatsoever to tell us that even the majority, which is a claim he made and then said that he didn't make, of educated Black people were responsible for holding us back. Now, the main claim that he's making is that black people are oppressed and that we are being held back and things like that. Give us nothing for that. That would be a complete and utter separate debate. But what we have here before us now is the claim that educated black people are the majority problem. Not white supremacy, not systemic racism, not lack of black education, not lack of trade schools, not border issues or anything else that we could see and demonstrate being the principal problems. This is not black infant mortality rates. This is not the fact that the black folks go to hospitals and get prescribed less pain medication. All of the other things that you see and you experience as black people, these things are not the biggest problem. And this was the question for the debate. The biggest problem for Brother Bennu was that educated black people, I guess, seemingly exist. And because these people exist, they're somehow doing something to stifle black progress. But I will tell you that as a person who has forwarded the progress of black people in my own particular community, more so than this nigga can ever say that he ever has in his life, ever than he could ever say that he has in his life. I have an education. He does not actually have one. He would not want to compare accolades. He would not want to compare people who who've come up from poverty, people who've got jobs, educations, schools, anything like that. He would never want to put forth anything like that. So, yeah, see, and then right there we see his kindergarten certificates.
It's like 6 of them, though. I didn't go to 6 kindergartens.
So, anyhow, what I will tell you is that ask yourself the question: was there anything put forth to show that educated black people were the biggest problem for the black community? And everybody knows the answer to the question is an actual no. I didn't even have to prepare for this because as an educated person, this is not necessary when you're arguing against someone who's like this. So I'm done now. The Joe Bird can respond.
Okay, I'm
why are you like this, man?
Because he's soft. Like this was soft internet intellectuals do. Like they try to be tough.
I've never been considered soft ever in my life, actually. Yeah,
right now you're being considered soft, yo.
Check my C file.
I'm not saying it's true, but let me get to my 2-minute.
Check my C file.
I'm gonna start. Check your what?
My C file.
Your C file. What that mean?
Yeah, check my C file.
Look, okay. You must recognize that things are backwards, but they must be backwards if the minority of people is to rule over the vast majority. The vast majority must be kept in a state of deception, and they must even be arrogant. Arrogant. Hold on, where am I? Arrogant in their state. Not open to critical thinking and analysis. It has been said that science has done great things for humankind, but when you look at it, it has done great things for a small percentage of humankind. We're hanging on by a thread. The more integrated we become, the weaker we become, and the more dependent we become. The Jews learned this serious lesson the hard way. We can be in universities. We can even create Einsteins. We can make great contributions to society, but that will not keep us from going in the oven. My question arises again. What have educated black people done to free us from the oppression that we are facing today? And as the uneducated brother at the bottom of the screen said, we're not being oppressed. And you want to say that I'm not educated, but educated has another definition.
That's 2 minutes, bro.
That's 2 minutes? All right, yeah, because I like smacking around nincompoops and pipsqueaks.
All right. So listen, I thought this was a spirited debate. I got a little spirited
from whoever, Julius Reinhardt.
And it like I said, go over to the community page and y'all let me know who took this one. We got the light-skinned Native American bully known as the Slim Reaper down here. We got the newest brother to the platform, Lord Bennu, the Shepherd. I think Lord Bennu took this one. I think it was an upset. I think the brother came in and put his demonstration in. And so my brother came in with Fans for Nine and Amos Wilson.
Two educated brothers. Go ahead.
The the Slim Reaper admitted that he didn't even take it seriously. So I think
certainly didn't need to.
That's why he got the floor mop with him.
That's right. That's true.
I think, and we could tell that the Slim Reaper was getting emotional. He kept interrupting the brother. Like everybody can go back and look at the question and answers and see how the brother conducted himself. So
he spoke on my beautiful mother in an ill way, which I think is totally.
I'm gonna do it again too.
Totally.
But you won't do it to my face, though. I know that for a fact.
Yes, I would. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I?
Okay.
Totally. Okay. Okay. Let's not go down this road. Let's not go down this road. So, family, look. Real quick, I want to say this. So, me and the good brother Mudawa, Little Lucifer himself, have been having a back and forth about whether or not atheism is an ideology. Now, he says atheism isn't an ideology. I beg to differ. And this all kicked off on over an exchange I had over on my man Sonetta channel. Y'all can check that out on Paradigm Shift TV 314, where I'm talking to a brother named the last name Wise. I can't remember his first name, but he made a statement, and I wanted to hold him to it. And so my man Mudawa said I was just throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. So I'm waiting on the brother to let me know if he's off tomorrow or if he's off Tuesday, because one of those days I'm gonna beat him up on that particular topic. And I like Mudawa. Like, I don't like beating up my friends. Like, you know, I had a bit of a behavioral problem when I was younger, and I always used to just steal off on my partners. Like, one of them is kind of traumatized by it. He still talk about it to this day. Like, I think he wants some get back. I'm gonna have to go and get him in a boxing ring and just take the L a little bit so he can stop talking about it. The only conclusion I can come to is that we're gonna have to fight. But anyway, point being is, this is how I know people like JJ -7 cent don't really want no smoke. This is how I know it's a lot of people on YouTube that talk a lot of rah-rah behind these keyboards.
Like
but,
me, yeah.
But they don't really want no smoke.
Like me, right?
Now I wasn't talking about the Fresno felon down there at the bottom of my screen either. Unlike other people, I don't underestimate his skinny. I'm talking 80 pounds soaking wet in a pair of rain.
About 215, but yeah, BON.
I'm talking about 80. I'm talking about 80 pounds. I still don't underestimate his gangster, but or my brother Lord Bennu. Like, I real recognize real, but it's some cats on here that be, you know, perpetrating a fraud. But anyway, I digress. Point being, my brother Mudawa is not one of those individuals, and so I don't want to have to remember and relive beating up my friends and doing things like that when I face this brother. But I feel like that's what it's gonna be like. I feel like I'm gonna be taking his own hand and punching him with it, and because he says atheism isn't an ideology, and I don't know how you would categorize it. Like, what would you? Let me ask you a question, Lord Bennu. Which is veganism an ideology?
I believe so.
As do I. Leandre.
I want to say that I'm not vegan though. So
I mean, not vegan, not I'm saying vegan, whatever it is you.
I'm a Goditarian.
Okay, is that an ideology?
Correct.
Okay, so Leandre, is Calvinism an ideology?
It is indeed.
You see what I'm saying? So,
well, I think one of the principal ways that we know that, you know, is it ends, you know, with that ism, which is one of the ways that it denotes that it's a particular way of thinking, a line of thought. It's That's what it is. I don't know. I don't know. I'm a little slow though, so I don't know. You can't ask me.
I'm so confused with this because my man said I'm throwing stuff at the wall to see what stick, as if I'm really reaching.
Brother, have some decorum. Have some decorum, brother.
I'm trying to have some decorum, but it's hard to when you know how woefully wrong the person that you're talking to is, but they think that they are absolutely correct. It make me feel like the Slim Reaper. Like I know how exhilarating it is to make somebody feel dumb. I understand how you get possessed and seduced by that power. It's like the serpent in the garden. Because when somebody is sitting up here telling you something that you know ain't true, it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What is it if it's not an ideology? Yeah.
See, that's why I differ right there, because this right here hurt my heart. You feel me? That I had to do this to him because he claims that, you know what I'm saying, he has this education and he does so much like slick talking and talking down and disrespecting people, you know what I'm saying? And he calls himself a Christian in the same breath, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I want better for my people, you understand what I'm saying? And like I don't look down on the brother or, you know what I'm saying, have any ill will or hatred towards him, you know what I'm saying? But I think we all need to come together and look at each other as what?
You couldn't. I make more than you, and I'm more accomplished than you are.
Make
Every
more
week in your
what?
life.
According to what?
I'm more educated. I make more than you. I'm very likely more. I'm taller than you are anyway. But in every measurable way, I'm better than you are.
What?
In every measurable way.
Oh,
bring
wow.
Bring your girl on the camera and let's ask her in every measurable way.
I'm sorry.
Hey, look. Hey, fam.
Hang on. I tell you,
this is what people do when they losing. They start talking about money and they start talking about stupid shit like that. I feel bad. Like, let me finish.
Me and Mudawar could be doing this tomorrow or Tuesday. I'll let y'all know what it is. And we got on the 20th, Wednesday the 20th at 7 p.m. Central Time, we got my man Vocab Malone debating Jacob Berman. We're going to get out of here. This is your brother DMG the Poet, a.k.a. Brother Pianki. We out of here. We'll be black at it again. This went, yeah. Anyway, peace, family. We out of here. Shout out to those who watched. We'll be black at it. That's peace. We out.